Okay. Okay, I am now live on TikTok. So I'm gonna be playing I Was a Teenage Exocolonist again. I'm on my, I think this is my 4th playthrough, 4th or 5th. I don't remember what I was doing before. Thank you for the like on the live, coffee. Okay, so we are still really tiny child. Okay. We got empathy, creativity, and bravery seem to be the big ones. Organizing is another. Toughness, 0 animals, which is unusual for me because I love to get a little friend to follow me around. Okay, friends. Okay, anemone and cow. Oh, Mars is the big one. Okay, so we are good friends with Mars. Let's okay, let me talk to her. Tammy has barely left the lounge since her father died. You often see her solemn face in the windows, peering out of the colony like a ghost. She hardly talks to anyone unless they talk to her first. Go talk to her first. Tammy looks up from the sewing she's aimlessly fiddling with. She gives you a watery smile. It's clear she's been crying. Hello, goobers, she says, wiping her face. Is everything okay? Typical Tammy. Even in her saddest moments, she wants to know how she can help you. You want to talk? Tammy brightens a little. Okay, goobers, what do you want to talk about? You tell her that you want to talk about how she's been feeling lately, and her face falls again. Oh, she mumbles. Okay, I guess. I am kind of a downer right now, sorry. With that, Tammy starts to cry again. Her whole body curls up as she sobs, trying to hide her face in her hands so she doesn't upset anyone else in the lounge. How about, I miss him too. Empathy is pretty okay. I miss him too. You admit that you feel the same way, that you miss him terribly, and that sometimes all you want to do is cry too. She holds her arms out, and you both cling to each other as you have a really good cry, letting out all your pain and your grief and sharing in each other's loss. It helps to just sit in your feelings for a little while. Uncle Tonin may be gone, but your friend Tammy is still here. Aww. I forgot. Her dad died. That's why she's so upset. She's still grieving. Dad? You're looking a little worn out, my little firefly. Your dad greets you, looking concerned. You know, despite what your mom might say, there is such a thing as too much work. Maybe some R&R over in the lounge would help recharge those solar cells. What do you say? Maybe I just need a hug. Your dad throws his arms wide. Well, get in here, Tiger Butter. After a long hug, you do feel a little better. Your dad gives incredible hugs. Oh, how sweet. Mars, how you doing? You're my best friend in this game. How you doing, Mars? And furthermore, your attitude towards your elders in general is entirely disrespectful. You found Udicott delivering a scathing reprimand to Mars, who is doing her level best to look like she'd rather be anywhere else. You speak out of turn, you question the council's decisions. If you disagree with an order, you simply do not do it. I could go on. Do you need me to go on? Mars scowls. No, she replies. Udicott clicks her tongue. I honestly thought better of you, Marzipan, she chastises. You have this sort of natural leadership ability I remember from when I was a girl many years ago. Mars doesn't roll her eyes, but you get the sense it's a close call. You need to set a better example for the other children, Udicott continues. It's okay to have your own opinions, but you kids can't just do whatever you want. You have to follow the rules and respect your elders. I am setting a good example, Mars retorts, stomping her foot. Hello? The only reason we're here is because a bunch of people knew living on Earth was nonsense and decided to do something different. Utica looks scandalized, but Mars continues. Maybe kids should have more authority. We're the ones with the new ideas that will take us into the future. Thank you for the follow. Mars is right. See? Mars insists. Everyone agrees with me. You might be on Vertumna, but your ancient old brain is still stuck back on Earth. She takes a deep breath and for a moment seems much older.
Escargot 6 just redeemed hydrate. Escargot 6 just redeemed posture check.
Hello, I'm doing good. How about you? Thank you for hydrating posture check. She takes a deep breath and for a moment seems much older. Governor Uticott, we need higher walls and more aggressive farmland clearing, and we need it now. Are we here to stay on this planet, or will we just sit around until the jungle swallows us back up? Uticott's mouth opens and closes a few times. Then she puts her hand to her forehead. Both of you, get back to your duties, she sighs. Marzipan, we will talk about this later, in private. You're just chilling? Hi, Patrick. I don't know what to do. Why do I have bravery so high? Okay, empathy is 19, persuasion is 16, creativity is 25, bravery is 28, reasoning is 3, organizing is 31, engineering is 5, biology is 10, toughness is 13, perception is 7, combat is 3, animals is 1. Very brave, very organized, no reasoning though, no problem solving skills. Deliver supplies, maybe? +1 friendship with Mars. You're charged with delivering a special package from Administrator Seek to Chief Engineer Instance. The wrapping is so fancy. Seek must have nano-printed the pretty handkerchief and ribbon specially for this package. You can't help but stare, but Seek snaps at you to mind your own business and get to work. Yikes. Alright. Touchy much? Ooh, nice streak. 95 streams. That's amazing. Kang laughs when she sees you in engineering holding Seek's gift. Again, she says, rolling her eyes. You try to hand her the package, but she looks at it like it's a stick of dynamite. Oh no, I don't want any part of this, she insists. Just go through those doors and give it to Instance if you want to ruin everyone's day. Open it. Investigation. This is a 4 card. +1 if left card is blue. I'm so sorry you don't have anyone watching the stream. Hope you get popular one day. I do have people watching the stream. They're all on Twitch though. Thank you for the likes on the live. Open it. You tear away the pretty wrapping to reveal a small wooden carving. It's smooth and warm, and you can see where real tools shape the wood, not a nanoprinter. Seek must have put a lot of time and effort into it. It's clearly a carving of Instance. Her hard expression is instantly recognizable, even if the rest of her is naked. Yep, she's sure naked. You quickly cover it back up before someone sees you holding a naked lady doll. Oh my god, keep it, give it back to Seek. Destroy it and say you delivered it. That's a little drastic. Give it back to Seek, maybe? Keep it? I'd rather not keep it. I'm gonna give it back to Seek. You didn't even deliver it? Seek sneers. What kind of delivery person are you? This is coming out of your pay. They look at the crumpled wrapping. Especially because you opened it, you beastly child. Get out now. Get to work. I get to use the 4 card immediately. No. Switch it out. Good. And the 1. I won. +6 organizing, +3 perception, +17 kudos, +10 stress. You wake from your latest recurring dream, a monster crushing the colony gates and stampeding through the square. You try different strategies every night. This time you ran away from it and hid. It works out a lot better than the dreams where you try to fight it. When you wake up, there are tears drying on your face. It felt real enough that for a moment, you just lie in bed with your eyes closed and try to calm your breathing. You blearily rub your eyes and... Surprise! Oh, it's your birthday! Your dad leaps onto your bed and gives you a big cuddle. Happy birthday, little tomato head! 20 years old, 12 years old, wow! Can you believe it? No, your mom answers for you, laughing as she hands you your presents. It was just yesterday Antecedent was showing me how to change her diaper. Because it's your birthday, your parents have brought in food from the canteen, so you can all eat together on your bed. As you stuff your face with savory tofu chunks, you open your presents. Which is your favorite? How's my day been? Uneventful. Yesterday I finished captioning the video I was working on. But I feel pretty tired after that because it ran a little late. I had to proofread the captions pretty carefully. This is a 0. What's the point in this card? How about +1? A stuffed xenofauna from your dad. I taught the nano printer the pattern based off of... Oh, whoops, it's your dad talking. I taught the nano printer the pattern based off of pictures from expeditions, your dad says, watching you play with it. They called it a spectroraptor, he continues. See, it looks like it's wearing glasses on top of its 5 eyes. Oh, just dropping in to remind everyone to stay hydrated. Yeah, everyone, stay hydrated. I have 2 bottles of water next to me. See, it looks like it's wearing glasses on top of its 5 eyes.
Ticked_off_Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
Thank you for the yeehaw, Patrick. They said that's because its lenses are outside of its eyeballs. Isn't that wild? Nothing like that on Earth. As your dad clears away the wrapping paper and the dishes from your breakfast, your mom folds her hands on the table and gives you a serious look. Uh-oh. So, she says, we've been here 2 years now. I know your dad and I have always said you're in charge of your schedule, but we've been keeping an eye on you. A loving eye, your dad interjects, stuffing wrapping paper into the recycler pickup bin. A trusting, gentle eye. Antecedent says you've been a great help around the quarters, your mom continues. That's good. She might not have the most glamorous job, but she's one of the most important people in the colony. She pats your hand. It's important to respect the people who raised you, not just us, you know. Your dad joins you again. So, it's time to start thinking about how you're going to contribute to the colony when you're older. At the look on your face, he laughs. Don't worry, we're not going to make you get a job right now. We're just asking, what do you want to be when you grow up? Captain of the sports ball team? I don't think toughness is that high. A famous idol? A monster hunter. Governor of Vertumna. Persuasion is not that high. What do I want? Why didn't you stream yesterday? Just curious. You don't have to share if you don't want to. Oh, I finished captioning the video and I was really tired after that. It was already like 6 p.m. when I finished and I was like, nah, I won't stream today. I was pretty tired today too, but I decided to push back the stream by 2 hours. I figured that was enough time. What are we thinking? Toughness, creativity, or bravery, or persuasion? Let me look. Persuasion is 16. Bravery is 28. Organizing is 35. Persuasion is 16. What is the red? Does that mean that I don't have a card equipped? Gear. Plus 20 persuasion, plus 2 bonus. I need to switch out the doll for the cool jacket. I don't know which one I want to pick. Do I want to be captain of the sports ball team? Have I been hanging out with, yeah, Anemone is at 17 and Mars is at 35. I guess. I think I'm gonna choose Governor over Tumna. Your parents chuckle fondly. Governor Goobers, your dad says. That has a nice ring to it. Can your first decree be Taco 2 days? Uticott has to retire someday, your mom adds. She's right. You're not sure how old Uticott is, only that she was already ancient when your parents left Earth. You think she looks at least 100 years old. Do you have to be super old to be governor? Is that a rule? Well, your mom starts to get up. I'm sure your friends all want to wish you a happy birthday. She stops and snaps her fingers. Oh, you might not have considered a career as a depot clerk, but Al and Bernie mentioned their daughter Mars is working there, and she needs some help. Now that people can freely order luxuries, it's pretty busy there. Sure beats shoveling dirt, your dad laughs. If you don't take that job, you tell Mars I'll be right there. Your mom rolls her eyes and smiles. Early quiet. It's mid-quiet now. New perk. Ooh, equip an additional gear. Ah, awesome. Okay, I need another perk for equipping more gear. Hi, Anemone. What happens if I talk to Mars first? Oh, hey, Goobers, Mars says, breezing past you. I'm sorry, I can't talk now. I'm on my way to work in command. She stops when you don't sound amazed enough. You know, the supply depot, she clarified. It's the most important job in the whole colony. Anything that gets made here goes through me first. Mars's smug smile gets somehow even more smug. Plus, I get the first pick of all the best stuff. Go straight to seek and ask for a job. Ooh, I need rebellion less than 20. Rebellion is 30. Ooh, damn. Can I work there with you? Well, Mars hems and haws. I suppose it is a lot of work to do alone, and I do like you. We should stick together. Whatever Mars does to pull administrator strings works, because an hour later you get a message from them on your holopalm. They're dubious that you'll be able to rise to the responsibilities of the role, but that's nothing new. They get dubious about everyone and everything. But they agree Mars would be more efficient if she had someone else to keep an eye on her. Unlocks the Poe clerk in command. Ooh, awesome. Let's talk to Anemone. What's going on, Anemone? You approach Anemone just as she's about to bite into a sandwich the size of her head. Mom says I'm about to hit my growth spurt, she says, chewing with her mouth open. She says I got a hollow leg. Damn, I need more toughness in order to play with her. Well, to train with her. Here, I got something for you. Does she like wood? An egg? I don't remember what she likes. Friends, anemone. Oh, she likes red Xeno eggs. Okay, here, have an egg. Wow, this egg looks tasty, Anemone exclaims. Wait, I can't eat this, right? Go ahead, I guess. Cal, what's going on, buddy? The sound of hammering rings through the garden, and you find Cal helping your mom to build a row of raised garden beds. Turns out some of the earth plants don't grow so great here, so we're gonna see if this helps, he says, taking a break to rub his face. Your mom stifles a laugh at the smear of dirt it leaves across his cheeks. Your mom says we gotta worry about the nitrogen levels soon, he continues. But that hopefully we'll be eating just plants that grow here before then. I found something you might like. Yeah, does he like bobber fruit? I forget too. He likes Rosino eggs, and I just gave one to Anemone, so I don't got one anymore. Why don't I... Should I train, or should I... I think I might be better to just hang out over here. Relax in the lounge. You look around the lounge. Some friends are here. Who do you hang out with? Anemone. Hey, friendo, Anemone says. I was just gonna get out of here, but you can come with me. I'm gonna play some sports ball. So much for relaxing. Anemone grabs you by the arm and marches you into the sports ball pitch, where she strikes up a game of sports ball that is not strictly regulation. You make up your own rules, even roping her 3 younger brothers into playing. They're young and they kind of suck at stuff, but it's still fun. Okay, what do I want to forget? How about this one? First words. Okay, it is now late quiet. Anemone. You and Anemone are playing in the garrison yard with sticks, chasing each other around and pretending to be sword fighting. The adults training nearby are patient with you as long as you don't get near the target dummies, but sometimes you stray too close. Watch out, Annie, one of the security personnel calls out as Anemone bumps into her. You kids stay behind the fences, okay? It's Anemone, she retorts as they both retreat to a safe distance. Anemone throws her stick to the ground and pouts. This customer and an L shortens their name. It doesn't mean I have to do it. I like being Anemone. But having a nickname is kind of cool and mysterious, like having a call sign, you know? What would you call me, Goobers? Oh, what should I call Anemone? Let's see. I don't know. Buddy. Buddy tilts her head. Huh, not bad. She mimes swinging a sword a few times. Buddy. Well, at least it's not Annie. Okay, since you're my friend, you can call me that. Buddy picks up her discarded stick. Now, she says, brandishing at you. Prepare to be defeated by the mighty Buddy. All strength toughness cards under 2 become 2. You spend the next hour sparring with Buddy in the yard. Buddy isn't the best nickname, to be honest. I just couldn't come up with anything else. Work in the depot. Seek rolls their eyes when they see you report to the depot for your first day as a clerk. Oh, it's you, they deadpan. Well, at least you might learn something useful while you're here. The depot is where the precious nanoprinter lives. Seek lords over it like a tyrant, and they don't like children. They load the depot module on your holopalm and walk you through the process. People submit requisitions for the nanoprinter through this portal, they explain. It's your job to program the correct routine into the nanoprinter to fulfill their order. Then you mark it as a delivery as available for delivery or pickup, depending on if we have a delivery person available. Seek grumbles, and we almost never do. With that perfunctory explanation, Seek leaves you to figure out what to do on your own. It's okay for the first hour or so, because no one puts in a requisition at all. It is pretty early. Maybe everyone is still asleep. Clean and organize the depot. There isn't a lot to organize, as you don't store a lot of stuff here, except for things that people need all the time, like toothpaste. But you find a bucket and start to mop the floors the old-fashioned way, because there's nothing wrong with taking pride in your work. You're jerked back to reality by a haptic pulse to your holopalm. Your first order. You excitedly open your holopalm and read. Elbow grease 1 gallon, it reads. From Cal Geoponics, delivery ASAP. Fill the requisition. You fix the requisition to your holopalm and fire up the nanoprinter. Huh, there must be something wrong because you're not finding anything under... You're about to punch in the parameters for something similar to what's in the requisition when you hear someone laughing behind you. OMG, Mars exclaims, leaning over your shoulder to look at your holopalm. Are you serious? Are you kidding me right now? Like, goobers, that's not even a thing. Mars snaps her gum in your ear as she reaches over and dismisses the requisition. Here, I saved you from being a nullhead today. Now you owe me one, she says. I take payment in acts of service. She hops up into the depot counter and primly crosses her legs. I am so totally relieved to have you as my assistant here, goobers. Finally, someone to haul boxes and fetch things so I can focus on the important work. Your assistant? I should be in charge. I don't care which one of you is in charge, Seek interrupts, so long as you get the work done. Seek pauses. Wait, did you wash the floors? They say, looking impressed. Well, that does deserve a reward. Here you go. They swap their hollow palm and you feel yours pulse as a couple kudos are deposited to your account. Mars can hardly wait until Seek is gone to giggle. Either way, I'm glad you're here. This job is usually so boring. Get to work. I need to get 20. No. There. +6 organizing, +2 persuasion, +19 kudos, +10 stress, +1 friendship with Mars. Maybe if Goober's reasoning was higher. Maybe I should work on that. Get the reasoning higher. Talk to Mars. My dads are so uncool, Mars complains. Mars, do your homework. Mars, you should help out more. Mars, you're gonna cut off your allowance. She scoffs. As if, right? That money is mine. I earn it. With a toss of her hair over her shoulder, she seems above it all entirely. Doing what? Do you even have to ask? My presence enlivens this jury colony. I'm their beloved daughter. They owe me. Tell her about your day. Mars is always talking about how she's bored and wishes there was more to do here, but there are 100 reasons Vertumna isn't boring. You try to list them all. There's all the cool plants and new constellations to look at, and just yesterday you watched a dwarf moth squeeze through a crack in the wall no animal should be able to fit through. Mars listens politely but starts yawning halfway through. Less bored is still bored when it comes to Mars and Vertumna. Anemone. Why don't I train? Toughness? Could be higher. Or I can get reasoning higher. Which one helps with reasoning? It must be school, right? Yeah, +1 reasoning if I study life sciences. Goobers, can you see me in class? Professor Hall pulls you aside in the hall, congruent sliding along beside him. You follow him cautiously. Don't worry, he smiles. You're not in trouble. Far from it, in fact. He grabs her hand and shakes it firmly. I never thanked you for saving my life, he chuckles. Professor Hall and I are very grateful for your bravery, Congruent says. Though you should have been in the creche. Just this once, it is good you disobeyed orders. Did they find the thing that attacked you? Oh, Hal looks unsure. No, the Congruents filled the engineering wing with sulfuryl fluoride for a few days. Fumigated the place. Hopefully that got it, whatever it was. Hal winks. Good thing you were helping me in the classroom when the attack started, right? He laughs and leans back against his desk, inadvertently sitting on something that pops and gives off a shower of acrid-smelling sparks. Whoops, he says, sleeping away from his desk. Danger looks everywhere, goobers. Keep your head on a swivel. I don't really like this card. Not working well. This is 3. Yeah, use bobber fruit. Yeah, use another log. Okay, I met the goal. Plus 4 reasoning, plus 4 biology, plus 1 reasoning, plus 15 stress, plus 2 kudos, plus 1 friendship with Hang. Your dad comes back from work one day looking seriously under the weather. He's pale with deep circles under his eyes and he keeps sneezing. It's fine, he insists. It's just all this pollen in the air. It's gunking up the old air tubes. Do you remember hay fever, Flulu? We almost got it. We always got it back on Earth, too. Your mom frowns and crosses her arms. We did, she agrees. So why isn't it bothering me? You're a lot tougher than me, sweet pea, your dad says, and your mom rolls her eyes. I'm sure I just have to get used to it like you did, he continues. Maybe I'll go for a stroll outside the gates later. Really get a good lungful of the stuff. I'll feel bad for a few weeks, but after that I'll be fine. Your mom raises both eyebrows. Outside the gates? You? Your dad shrugs and he falls into a bit of sneezing and can't answer. Your mom directs him to go lie down on their bed. You need rest, not machismo, she scolds him. I don't have a chew, your dad sneezes. A macho bone in my body, foo-foo, and I had to fertilize the corn and the pixie beans this week. Uh-huh, your mom grunts. Your dad pulls a handkerchief from his pocket and sneezes into it a few times. Big, yelling honk sneezes that echo through your whole quarters. He pulls it away from his face, and you can tell that something's wrong. Huh, your dad says weakly, holding the handkerchief away from his face. It's bright fuchsia pink and glittering in the light. That's weird. Then his eyes roll back in his head, his knees buckle, and your mom yells for you to call Instance. Chief Engineer Instance takes your dad's vitals and gives him a cursory look over, but she seems satisfied with what she sees without having to do a thorough examination. The explorers have started calling this the shimmer, she says, shining a light down your dad's throat. He's looking a little better, but not much. It's an airborne environmental toxin, likely in the pollen fog. Dad? It doesn't seem to cause long-term damage to the body, Instance explains. She gestures in the air, making notes on her hollow eye that only she can see. I've been tracking its effects for 3 seasons now. The toxin is flushed out of the body after 3 to 5 days, and it's not contagious. She looks down at your father. What that means for you, Geranium, since you're particularly susceptible to the toxin, you should be taking better pains to avoid exposure. If you must go outside during pollen, use a respirator. Your dad smiles weakly. You got it, boss, he says. Your mom smiles and puts her hand over his. As your literal boss, I'm ordering you not to come into work for the rest of the week, she says. You're on strict bed rest. She leans in to touch her forehead to his. They stay like that, smiling with relief. Even after 1 day of bed rest, your dad is looking a lot better. He's clearly anxious to get back into the fields. You're gonna love this new crop, Goobers. It's called a pixie bean. They glow in the dark. He's already pulling on his boots. The fields look so beautiful at night. I'm happy that we finally found something that would actually grow here. That isn't soy, and more soy. Dad, pixie beans are dangerous. You dreamed about these beans. They make people act all funny, then they get sick. Your dad laughs. Someone's been reading too many weird hollow novels before bed, Goobers, he says, ruffling your hair. Don't you worry about it, my little tomato. I've been studying them since we landed, including eating them. He gestures broadly to himself. Look at me, I'm in great health. Your dad is acting pretty strange, but maybe it's just the shimmer brain. You remember the pixie beans mostly affected the teenagers. Ugh, you wish you could remember more. You know I wouldn't lie. I don't like them either, your mom cuts in. I agree we should be trying to cultivate native crops, but something just feels off about these ones. She shudders. I can't stomach the idea of eating something that glows in the dark. Who knows what that's doing to our bodies? Your dad sighs. Voted, huh? He says, even though your mom's vote is the only one that counts. Your mom takes your father's hands and looks him in the eyes. Thank you for not forcing me to pull rank, she says quietly. We should still grow them, but I'm not ready to put all of our resources behind them just yet. Your dad agrees. The fields will be sowed with earth crops this year. You can't exactly remember the details, but you think it's going to help. Mid-pollen. Hey, Tang. Your holopalm pulses with a message from Tang. Hello, Goobers. If you're not occupied, could I ask for your assistance in the lab? Thank you in advance. Tangent. Typical Tang, but her asking for help is something so rare that you can't help but head over right away. You find her hunched over a spectrometer, making notes on a holo screen. Oh, you're here, she says, blinking rapidly. She looks like she's been awake for days, wrinkled, a little shiny, and with the wild-eyed look of someone who needs a cup of black tea. How can I help? I'm researching the shimmer, the respiratory illness some people report during pollen, she says. I'm loath to admit it, but I need your assistance. She takes 4 vials with swabs inside and puts them into your hands. I need recent saliva samples from both you and your father, she says. There must be a reason why he's so susceptible to the shimmer and you're not. You share half of your genetic code with him. There must be some marker we can compare between the 2 samples. Then, she continues, pulling another vial from a rack of test tubes, administer this to yourselves. Wait 3 days and take the samples again. The test should be able to determine if anything in your body's chemistry has changed. Tang looks at you very seriously, cutting through her bleary expression. There's something going on here, she whispers. Something really, really big. I've begun to realize this is about more than just curing a disease. She squeezes your hand so hard it almost hurts. Unlocking the secrets of the shimmer, who it affects and why, it could lead to a greater understanding of all life on Vertumna. And knowledge? Knowledge is more than power, Goobers. It's control. Okay, I'll do it. Thank you, Tang says. I've been researching so hard, I think my eyes are going to fall out of my head. And for what? Well, for the end of a debilitating disease is a pretty good reason. But Tang just shakes her head at herself before you can answer. We're at a disadvantage here, she mutters. We're fighting blind. We need to understand this planet if we're going to get it under our control. Oh, crystal cluster. That's good. Mars. Goobers, come here, Mars demands. When you do, she slings her arm across your shoulders and raises her holopalm to take a picture. Look cool, she instructs you. I need to take a selfie with someone every day or I lose my streak. She presses her cheek against yours and purses her lips. The picture turns out okay. Mars slaps a filter on it and posts it to the colony message board. Need persuasion 40 or greater. What's my persuasion at right now? Needs to be 40? I'm at 34, okay. I forget how to get persuasion up. It isn't there. If I got my persuasion up so high, then it must be over here? Perception, organizing. Persuasion +2, okay. Mars insisted on being the one who talks to people and takes requisitions, while you work hidden in the back loading packages onto the conveyor belt. You pop a package on, and it slides through the little door to the front room. Mars plucks it up and presents it to Professor Hal with a flourish. Thanks for brightening my day with your smile, Hal says, taking it. It's always nice to see you working hard, Marzipan. Here's a little something extra for you. He taps his holopalm and leaves with a whistle. Mars glows and calls after him. 10 kudos! Thanks, Professor Hal. I am going to buy so many sour sticks. It's not fair. You're the one running around in the back doing all the heavy lifting while she gets all the credit and kudos. And you want those kudos because you want to be rich. You're saving up for something. Mars sees your barely controlled anger and can't help but rub it in. What? She says innocently. Are you jealous? Lose your temper. -3 to last card. Nah. Convince her to alternate jobs? Okay. You swallow your anger and calm yourself. You are sick of working in the back all the time, and Mars needs to take a turn there. From now on, you're going to alternate days. It takes some convincing because Mars thinks she's better at filling out forms and carrying things, but eventually she gives in. I'm glad to see you stand up for what you want, Goobers, she tells you seriously, her arm on your shoulder. You can't let the world rock all over you. Tomorrow, you can keep all the tips for yourself. Hell yeah! +1 if card to the left is blue. Okay, that helped a little. Push through, 5 stress. +6 organizing, +2 persuasion, +9 kudos, +10 stress. +1 friendship with Mars. Late pollen. Let me go talk to Mars first. And then I'm gonna go to school. Persuasion is at 36 now. Study life sciences. Hand just stops you on the way to class. Goobers, were you heading to life sciences? Good, I could use your help with something actually. I'm working with Chief Engineer Instance in the biolab. If you give me a hand with it, I'm sure she'll give you credit for the class. Of course I'll help. Honestly, admits Tang, we just need somebody to label petri dishes and move them from the cooler to different machines. A hot eye could do it. Instance is staring unfocused at her hollow eye as she processes the results of the scans. Tang goes and stands beside her, pulling up the scan on her own hollow palm. They confer quietly while you wait. Sounds like they're studying the shimmer, the mysterious illness some colonists get during pollen every year, including your dad. Instance looks up at you as if just noticing your existence. Ah, goobers, she says. We've been studying samples from some of the colonists who get sick during pollen, including your dad. Some of the stuff in his lungs is some kind of fungus. We think the shimmer is a form of reproduction, Tang explains. It's like a fungus trying to turn us into more fungus like it. It's really neat, actually. Yeah, neat. You spend the rest of the week helping them study the illness. Mostly this involves following instructions and doing, as Tang loves to repeat, jobs a hop-eye could do. Nothing beats hands-on experience, though. This would be easier if we had an actual sample of the fungus, Instance remarks. They're working with some biological samples, a fancy word for snot. But according to them, the fungus is all mixed in with human cells. Instance has to spend a lot of time in vert space trying to disconnect the two in her models. Where could I find a sample? Our most useful reports have been from foragers returning from the Valley of Vertigo, she tells you, where the pollen is thick all year. That might be a good place to start. Tangent and Chief Engineer Instance have been hard at work in the lab trying to find a cure for the shimmer disease. You've come to realize you remember how to cure the shimmer. You can't tell them it's from your dreams, but you know the cause from nightmares of fungi, topiaries, and you know the cure. You think you do anyway. Subtly guide them to the cure. You offer to help and nudge their research in the right direction. Due to what looks like a series of happy accidents, you achieve a breakthrough in a matter of weeks that would have taken years. Sunlight. You try inoculations, antibiotics, antifungal creams, but what finally works is a high-intensity light treatment mimicking the force of the suns during dust, coupled with an injection to increase its potency. Of course, Tang explains. The fungus colonizes animal life during pollen, and some succumb to it, but the intense light of dust scourges the fungus from the survivors. It's all part of the natural cycle. The treatment works on samples, now to test it on the subject. You know it works, test it on yourself. You already know the treatment works and is safe, but you have to test it on someone to prove it. At least this way you look like a badass. You open a triple locked research room and pass through an airlock. You don't have your enviro suit on, but that's the point. You need a strong dose of this fungus in your lungs. The small room is filled with the shimmer fungus. It's growing on everything, the floor and walls, and on lumpy shapes that were some kind of biological matter once. Now it's all just fungus, violet and shiny. You breathe deeply, marveling in the feeling of soupy, dangerous air infiltrating your body. Ping watches safely from behind the thick plexiglass. You can't tell if she's jealous or impressed. Next, you slide into the light therapy machine to bask in the nice, warm light for a while. You even have a nap. Dr. Instance takes your vitals and runs samples of your fluids through various machines. She's excruciatingly thorough. But after a few days, she concludes that the treatment is a success. You still carry a high fungal load, but its effects have been nullified by the light therapy. Remarkable, Instance says, going over your findings. Now that we have a frontline therapy, we can begin treating the population to prevent the fungus from taking hold. He looks over at Tang. Goobers' discovery will be of great help with our other research. You expect Tangent might be cross that you got the credit, but she nods, looking pleased. You're just thankful that no one was killed, not your father or anyone else. The colony is safe from the shimmer. Awesome. Yum. Plus for biology, plus 1 reasoning, plus 15 stress. Awesome. No one's gonna get sick anymore during pollen. How high is reasoning now? It's at 5. Reasoning is so low. Persuasion. Work in the depot. You attend a secret Fun Times Club meeting. Mars brings the meeting to order. Tang reads the minutes of the previous club meeting. Tammy serves flowery tea and soy sweets. First order of business is that I am instituting a new rule, Mars says, and then clears her throat. Rule 5. All members of the SFC must wear uniforms to all club meetings. She taps her hollow palm and shows you her uniform idea. Black pants and dark blue shirts with high necklines and billowing at the cuffs. She definitely designed them according to her own taste. Okay, but let us design better ones. You spend the next hour designing a club uniform and everyone takes part. It becomes ridiculously elaborate. Cammy wants to add tassels to everything, and Cal insists it should include huge cowboy hats. Mars gets into a heated fight with Anemone over the type of shoes to allow, until Tang calculates how many kudos it will cost to print one of these uniforms on a nano printer, and you realize you couldn't afford them anyway. You come to a compromise. Instead of uniforms, you'll all wear a lapel pin with the club's logo. You spend the rest of the meeting designing SFC pins and printing them on a nano printer. If anyone doesn't have the kudos, Mars pays for them without complaint. 5 kudos if total equals goal. Damn. That card sucks. Sabotaging. It's sabotaging me. I need better cards. +6 organizing, +2 persuasion, +3 kudos, +10 stress. I forgot about the festival. It's time for the 3rd annual Virtunalia Festival. You gather with your family in the Colony Square. Everyone takes a seat as Governor Udicott approaches the stage. He folds her hands and serenely addresses the crowd. What a pleasure to address you all today as your governor, she says, looking as pleased as she ever does. In under 3 years, we've built a colony of which we can be truly proud. While we've suffered hardships and losses, we remain standing. As always, looking toward the future we are building together. Let us use this midsummer festival as a time to reflect on our many blessings, Udicott continues. Fresh water, good food, healthy children, and a strong community. You look around at the crowd, your friends, your parents, and the adults who have been the background radiation of your entire life. These are the closest human beings around for light years, and they are all your family. Udicott bows her head. But first, we recognize the passing of our dear friend, Chief Surveyor Melatonin. Known for his gentle nature and his curious spirit, Tonin is survived by his daughter, Aspartame. In the crowd, Tammy sniffles loudly. In this place, we welcome our youngest council member ever, Utopia representing Expeditions. Udicott invites the rest of the council to stand and be recognized among the crowd, including your mom, who huffs in annoyance. When the applause dies down and the council sits, Utopia remains standing. Actually, Auntie Udicott, y'all mind if I just make a quick announcement? Udicott nods and Utopia clears her throat. I just want to say thanks to y'all who have trusted me with this job, she says, her clear voice ringing out over the crowd. A cheer rises from Expeditions as she motions for them to quiet it down. Uncle Tony has left some big shoes to fill, and well, I'm gonna give him my best. We've been finding some mighty interesting stuff out there, she continues. As we fly further, we're seeing some kind of magnetic interference when trying to send word back to Colony Prime, but we're doing well out there, and we'll get the kinks that worked out soon enough. She bends down to hug the governor as she leaves the stage. Thank you, Utopia, Udicott says warmly, and thank you to the rest of the council for their service. Live music starts playing and Udicott smiles. And now it's time for games and feasting. The crowd disperses towards the feasting table, clearing the area of chairs so the children's competitions can be held. Which will you do this year? Talent show. Mars has been studying Dice's technique after being embarrassed by his comedy impressions last year. Her routine this time is more like a celebrity roast, only the celebrity target is Dice and he's not in on the joke. She levels some truly incinerating disses about his clothes and his mannerisms and his weird hobbies, giving it just this side of too mean. She's a lot more polished than Dice's stammering impressions, and the judges can't help but smile. When it's Dice's turn, he's so embarrassed that he stumbles through the whole routine, a series of knock-knock jokes that gets less funny as time drags on, and ends up running off stage before finishing. It's your turn. Do a dance routine or sing a folk song? Sing a folk song. I'm not gonna be able to run this. My cards are weak. Okay, next round. Okay, I need to hit 29, but I'm not gonna do it. Damn. Yeah, I'm not gonna win. Okay, let me use another crystal cluster. There are no gems on these cards. Damn, this is even worse. Give up. I've been defeated. You do okay, but it's nothing to write Earth about, even if you could. Dice is nowhere to be seen, but that's okay. There's no way he was going to win anyway. Mars accepts her win with grace and poise. After the festivities, you take time off for a much-needed, very relaxing break. Your dad sets up a slip and slide through the colony square, and everyone takes turns sliding on their stomachs and spraying water at each other. It's a lot of fun. You can feel your worries floating away in the hot dust suns. Mid-dust. Okay, persuasion is at 38. I just need 2 more to hit 40 persuasion so I can get the debate card. You're scrolling through a hollow novel behind the desk when Tangent comes in. She pauses and looks uncomfortable when she sees you and Mars looking at her, and quickly disappears into the shelves. You and Mars shrug. A few minutes later, Tang comes up to the counter and drops a fistful of candy. She shifts from one foot to foot as you ring her up, jostling up and down and rubbing her stomach. I also need something from behind the counter, she says quietly. Some medicine. You ask her what she needs and she mumbles a name. You can't hear her. Can you repeat that? She mumbles it again a little louder. Mars stifles a giggle. I'm sorry, what? Tang rolls her eyes. Stars, she curses. I need fart pills, okay? The stupid alien bacteria and all of the weird native food makes my stomach upset. OMG, Mars laughs. You have blue gut? Really? Tang the perfect has blue farts? Tang crosses her arms and looks miserable. You give Mars a questioning look. Blue gut? Mars says. You know, when you keep farting and farting all this, like, blue dusty stuff? Mars leans over the counter to get a better look at Tang's backside. Oh no, she says dramatically. White was not the best color to wear today, Tangent. Your butt's as blue as Goober's hair. Mars cackles as Tang anxiously cranes her neck to look at her rear. Liar, Tang mumbles, not admitting her eyes. Just give me the pills, please. I don't want to talk about my stupid body. Be sensitive and nice. Oh shit, yeah, Tang didn't like that. -2 friendship with Tangent. You let Tangent know that you're very sorry this is happening to her. Blue gut is an uncomfortable condition, you tell her, but it doesn't make her a bad person. You let her know that if there's anything you can do to help, you'll be there for her, because that's what friends are for. This approach seems to make Tang even more miserable. She takes her order and rushes out of the depot as soon as you're done. Whoops. I did not mean to make her more upset. Card becomes blue. Okay. I hate this sabotaging card. Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to do that. Late dust. Ooh! Carefully pick a yellow flower. Get into a debate. Mars would never stoop to using her fists to get her way, but she loves a good fight nonetheless. You ask her what she would have done differently if she'd been the captain of the Stratospheric when you landed, and her eyes go wide. She launches into a laundry list of shoulda wouldas, and whatever she says she would have done, you offer reasoning for why it wouldn't have worked. After a little while of this, Mars is positively invigorated. Wow, you really thought about all this, didn't you? She says, cracking a little smile. You're totally right. It's a lot more complicated than just making decisions and telling people what to do. Thank you. It's so important to have people like you around to keep me on my toes. She cracks her knuckles. Okay, but when I'm governor, I will do so much better than the adults can. Okay, my goal was to get to 40 persuasion, but I don't know what else to do. I guess I can get my reasoning up again. Register for engineering classes. Using Congruence's HoloNest scheduling system is almost a test on its own. You feel like a hacker navigating the confusing interface, but manage to add your name to the list of drop-in students. You're now eligible to join Tangent and some of the older students in engineering class. Professor Hal rubs his hands together as he waits for the class to settle down. He's in a great mood. This must be his favorite subject to teach. If biology and chemistry are the wet sciences, then engineering must be a dry one. But believe me, this class definitely won't be dry. He winks. It's weird. We'll also be learning math, physics, computing, robotics, architecture, and astronomy. Tangent raises her hand. Will we also learn about nuclear engineering? She asks. Professor Hal nods. Yes. At a beginner level, we'll have an overview of atomic theory and take a field trip to the engine rooms to learn how our ship's nuclear reactor works to power the colony. +3 engineering, +2 reasoning, +15 stress. It is now early wet. I need 80 persuasion to gossip with Mars. That's so much. Why? Royal blue or peacock? Mars asked, holding up 2 different jackets. Or should I just recycle both and have the shop nano print a different color entirely? She folds both jackets over her arms and sighs. Or a different material? Translucent, maybe? Ugh, so many choices. At least I have more than enough kudos to burn. Ad break starts in about 40 seconds. Let's relax in the lounge. Lots of kids treat the lounge as an informal study hall, especially Tangent. And Mars too sometimes if she's trying to impress Tangent. You crack open a textbook on your holopalm and read about some old dead Earth poets. Just because you're not in class doesn't mean you can't read ahead a little bit. Yeah, let's get rid of this this blue card. Bobber fruit. Awesome. Oh, okay. Time for a little break. Hello, Boxy. How you doing? You doing good? That's good. I'm having fun playing this game. I took a break from it for like a year, and now I'm right back at it. I made some strange choices before, though. You like and sub? Thank you. We got a minute and a half left in the ad break. And we have 2.5 hours left in the stream. What is game name? It's called I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. $30 seconds left. Gotta go. Bye. Okay. We're back. Mars calls the meeting of the Secret Fun Times Club together. She declares it's time to put the secret part of the SFC into effect. You're going to play spies. First of all, the adults know something about the attacks in Glow that they're not telling us, Mars asserts. There's a council meeting starting soon just down the hall. We're going to investigate. Buddy crosses her arms. Not gonna do it, she says. I didn't sign up for any get in trouble club. It's insulting to think that the adults are hiding information from us, Tang points out. If there's something dangerous out there, we should all know. Cammy wrings her hands, worried at the very idea. Yeah, Cal agrees. If something is making the animals attack us, maybe we can help figure it out. That way we don't have to hurt the animals. Tang rolls her eyes. I want to be a spy. Mars nods. Okay, whoever wants to come, follow me and stay quiet. You, Tang, and Cal join her. You, Tang, Cal, and Mars creep down the hall toward the council room. It's still empty. Good. Mars pulls a small crystal object out of her pocket and shows it to you. It sort of resembles your holopalm. She whispers, it's a 3D camera like the kind they use to record holovids. Goobers is going to hide it in the council room. Sweet, time to use my ninja skills. Just make sure nobody sees you, Mars says, and drops the crystal into your palm. Mars nudges you forward, then the three of them giggle and scurry back to the club room. You're on your own. Pretend to be cleaning. You grab a static mop from a panel in the wall and vigorously wipe the floor as you enter the empty council room. You work your way over to a potted antler fern and drop the crystal into the pot while pretending to dust it. Success! You casually make your way back out of the room and rejoin the others. Mars beams at you. Good work, Goobers. Now... Oh, shh, it's starting. The four of you watch the feed on your holopalm as the council members enter the room. They start with some formalities, not all that different from when Mars starts your club meetings. Auntie Seaton gives the first report on domestic matters. We've almost finished construction on the next phase of the living area, she says. Other than that, we're doing well. Instance gives the report from engineering. We've researched the electrical bugs the children discovered have been chewing through the wiring, she says impassively. Even in great numbers, they provide far too little energy to make them a viable alternative energy source. However, power efficiency is up across the board due to our efforts in exterminating them. Nothing to report from geoponics, your mom says, clearing her throat. We're struggling with introducing earth vegetables to Fortuna soil, but early observations look promising. Our efforts to cultivate native plants are going well. Utica gives your mother her full endorsement. Red gives a report from defense. We're working on a strategy for dealing with the next Xeno attack. Utopia cuts in. On that note, there's still the matter of our scanners picking up that broadcast, but only in glow season, she says, standing up and putting her hands on the table. It has to be connected to the attack somehow. We should investigate now. Utica shakes her head. It's far too dangerous to go recklessly off into the wilderness towards the back half of the year, she says. Remember what happened to Tonin? The other council members go quiet. I won't be responsible for endangering more colonists, Utica continues. If something is out there during glow, I want to try to investigate it when things are more calm. Okay, Patrick. Utopia slams her fist against the table. If we don't investigate soon, we'll all be in danger, she shouts. We can't keep living like this. Rhett also stands up and points his finger at Utopia. I'll be the one responsible for telling the family of your explorer that they didn't make it back, not you. So they'll thank you now to make decisions regarding the security of the colony. The rest of the council erupts into raised voices and angry adults. Mars turns off the stream audio, leaving them to continue arguing silently as you all stare quietly at each other. I can't believe they're arguing in a time like this, Mars mutters, clenching her fist. They don't know what to do at all. They just tell us they do. She makes a noise of frustration. Utica is way out of touch with what really matters. She's like a crone, and everyone else is just her cronies. Tang solemnly records your findings in the club's secret ledger, while everyone else exchange worried looks. You're not so sure you're happy you heard any of this. Damn. That's depressing. One less kudo, if I use that one. +8 organizing, +2 persuasion, +7 kudos, +10 stress, +1 friendship with Mars. It is now late wet. there a collectible that I can pick up? I don't see any. Mars is primping in a hollow screen she set up to act as a mirror. You never know when someone important is going to talk to you, she says, twisting and retwisting her hair around her finger. And no, I don't mean important like the council. Yuck. She smiles primly at you. I mean whoever is going to end up being my first kiss. I don't want them to remember that time they saw me when we were kids and I wasn't absolutely at my best. Okay, how about more reasoning? Whoops, I went to the wrong area. Study engineering. You should have known better, Tangent, you hear as you walk past the laboratory. Curious, you listen at the door. Chief Engineer Instant says, I know you meant well, but your presumption has cost us 3 months of work. You can't simply look at an experiment and change the parameters to your liking. Getting results is not the same as doing good science. Your findings, however scientifically interesting, are useless to us without sound methodological underpinnings. Tank's response is more subdued than you've ever heard her before. I'm sorry, Chief Engineer, she mumbles, looking down at the floor. I recognize the error of my ways. I should hope so, Instance replies, pinching the bridge of her nose and her fingers. I'll expect you in the lab first thing tomorrow morning, and I will personally supervise your work in resetting the experiment. You fly against the wall as Instance breezes past you, barely giving you a second look as she strides down the hall. You poke your head inside the laboratory where Tang scowls and wipes her eyes. What do you want? Cheer up, it could be worse. It's true, I could have lost 4 months of work, Tang says wryly. That's the spirit. Losing the data was my fault, Tang continues. I wanted to prove I'm not the little kid from biology class, that I'm ready to work hard and really make great discoveries. The Dr. Instance has always been there for me, when I was a kid and now with my mother gone. She's the only adult in this colony who sees what I could become, she says. She believes that I can be better than what I am. It's always been that way. I just really want to impress her. You will. Tang hums in agreement. I certainly hope so. Damn. It is now glow, which is the worst part of the year. Hello? It's the most dangerous part of the year. Oh, relax on the walls. It would give me +1 friendship with dice. Let's work in the depot. You're working with Mars when the depot order comes through on your holopalm for 10 batteries for the crash. You're busy packaging up another order, so you send it over to her holopalm. Despite her constant complaining about how boring and beneath her this job is, Mars is very good at it. She finds ways to do things faster and more efficiently, and she hardly ever makes mistakes. Which is why you're surprised when you get the order from the nanoprinter and find 15 batteries. You check the requisition again. Wait, it says 15 batteries now? You swear it said 10 before. Mars scoops up the extra 5, giving you a wink as she hides them in her bag. Stay quiet. Somehow, Seek figures out that the nanoprinter logs more batteries than Auntie Seaton asks for. They quiz you both, but you stand firm and keep your mouth shut. They can't prove you did it, but they still dock both your pay and give you a stern warning about stealing from the depot. Points form a line, but 3 is a pattern. The colony has been on high alerts all glow, hoping that the creatures from beyond the wall don't return for a 3rd year in a row. Surveyors keep reporting that they're seeing unusual animal activity. Even the plants seem different, they say, and new tracks that must have been left by creatures larger and heavier than you've ever seen. You and the other colonists drill evacuation plans. You're in engineering when you hear the sirens ring through the colony. You cover your ears against the noise and make your way to the nearby classroom. This is one of the assembly points, so you should be safe there, but it wasn't so safe last year for Professor Hall. What if another creature gets in? You look at Professor Hall and he looks back at you. Last year you saved his life right here. Hal clears his throat, visibly trying to stay calm. All right, children, he says, subconsciously touching his neck. Just remain seated. I'm certain everything will be fine. You've been told this before. As the sirens continue, you're faced with a choice. Hello, Cass was here. How you doing? Try to leave. Hal leaps in front of you, blocking the door. No way, goobers. I'm not letting you go out there to put yourself in danger again. Your mother would kill me. She almost did last time. I'm playing this game that does have excellent taste. Yeah, this game's really good. I'm on my 4th or 5th playthrough. It might be 3rd, actually. Picking out a type of candy. Ooh, what candy are you thinking about? I personally like sour candies. Sour or spicy. You give up and join the rest of the class. You, Tang, Mars, and the other kids try to stay calm. You love sour candies? Hell yeah. Hal tells everyone to get under the big tables together. Want to hear about my gameplay? So far during this playthrough, I am best friends with Mars. We're working the depot with her. We have pretty good organizing, not very much reasoning. We saved Hal last year. Uncle Tonin is dead, unfortunately. And now it's Glow. I swear my favorite run was my 4th because then I'd gotten the gist of it and managed to get the botanical route. Mars is so fun, I love her to pieces. Yeah, Uncle Tonin unfortunately is dead. I didn't manage to save him this time. I always forget when I need to save him till he's dead. Unfortunate, right? Hal tells everyone to get under the big tables together. There's some nervous laughter as kids bump into each other. Then he reads from a textbook on Earth history to try to distract everyone. One time you saved him because you happened to be out and about at that exact day. Wow. I would shriek too. His voice shakes as he fumbles over a passage about Mesopotamia. It's more upsetting than helpful. Mars grabs her hand, but when you look at her, she looks away pointedly. Take it seriously. There's nothing you can do, so you try to apply yourself to reading the chapter you've been assigned. You struggle with it, your mind racing. You notice Tangent trying to do the same. She gives you a faint smile over her hollow screen. It isn't long before the sirens turn off, ringing 3 short pulses as the all clear message flashes on your holopalm. You and the other children file out of engineering, and you head back to your quarters. Your parents will want to know that you're safe. Your dad gives you a big hug, but your mom slumps into a seat at your small table. It's like they were going specifically for geoponics this time, she mutters. But your dad pets your hair and shushes her. I'm sure it was just bad luck, Flulubelle, he says. But your mom shakes her head and folds her hands in front of her mouth, staring at the porthole window at the fields. It's now early quiet. Start age 13. You gotta play this again? Oh, absolutely. The only person who's on my screen right now at the start of the game is Dice. Tangent. Tangent is standing still with her face held up to the sky, letting blue snowflakes land on her cheeks. They melt almost immediately. She doesn't move as you approach. After a minute, she winces and rubs her eyes. It stings, she says, because it's made of acid. Acid snow? Hang nods. Professor Hell says it isn't harmful, and it's an important part of the natural cycle here. It freezes at 12 degrees Celsius and turns into tiny crystals that are so heavy they fall from the clouds. You can see them under a microscope. She sticks her tongue out and lets some of the flakes fall on it. It tastes kind of sour but sweet, she observes. Fascinating. I love rage baiting her in all your runs. It's so funny. Tang pulls a sample jar out of her coat. We know that what it's made of, but our understanding is incomplete, she says, and places the jar on an outcropping of rocks. The big mushrooms changed in shape and color before the snow began to fall. I wonder, is there some sort of signal that precedes the changing of the seasons? What happens if I expose samples collected in dust season to snow from quiet season? A small, excited smile creeps across Tang's face. There's so much to learn about this planet. I can't wait. You and your brother are so much alike. Tang narrows her eyes. Yes, we used to get that a lot, she says. I guess it's still true, if you think sneaking out of the colony is the same as valid scientific research. She frowns at you. He's so dumb, she mutters, and shoves her hands under her arms. He only cares about feelings, especially his own. Mars! What you doing? Mars is frowning intently at her holopalm, typing a new message. Excuse me, goobers. I just have to clear something up, she says, sparing you a look. Anemone posted her answers to the Everything About You survey on the colony message board, and she said that she thinks her brother Calm is the coolest person in the colony. Mars rolls her eyes, as if Calm is like one of the hottest, but he's not sophisticated. Okay, Mars. Okay, we're at 65 organizing. I need 80 persuasion. What's a persuasion at now? It's at 45. I'm about halfway there. Work in the depot. You're constantly filling requisitions for snow shovels and waterproof boats. Like every year, people forget that it snows on Vertumna. At least everything gets recycled afterwards. I hit the sabotaging one. It's -2 to these challenges. No, Tammy isn't dead. She's awake. She's alive. I remember playing the beta for this game and like Tammy dying was one of the last things that happened in the beta release. Devastating. Oh my god. That didn't help. Didn't help a lot. Yeah, the candy. You wake to the sound of your parents arguing in hushed tones, clearly trying not to disturb you. Am I familiar with Avatar: The Last Airbender? Yeah. I rewatched it a couple of years ago. You blink away the sleep from your eyes, eventually remembering, wait, isn't today your 13th birthday? Where's your birthday cuddles? Your parents always make a big deal about your birthday. You peek out through the privacy curtain on your bunk and listen in on their arguments. You're being unreasonable. Oh, you're being unreasonable, your mom says. Goobers is a teenager now. You have to give them the opportunity to take calculated risks, or they'll start acting out. That's just what being a teenager is. Going off into the wilderness isn't a calculated risk, your dad replies. It's too dangerous. It's weird to hear your parents arguing. If they ever disagree, they sort it out quietly or go to mediation. This time they sound really upset. It's unsettling. You're throwing a themed party and trying to pick out candies for all 4 elements. You got mints for water, cinnamon candy for fire, but you're stumped on earth and air. I can't think anything for earth and air either. Cinnamon candy for fire is really good, and mints for water is too. Maybe sour for earth because of the little crystals from the sugar of the The citric acid? Like the crystals could be like earth. Rock candy would be better. Yeah. Maybe pop rocks for air? They glance at you. Your mom holds up her hand to silence you and goes right back to talking. Ooh, that might not be good for a piñata. Yeah, you're right. Uranium, she grates. You've said yourself that we need every person out there surveying for edible native plants. You're even going out yourself. Why not our child? Your dad flails his hands helplessly. Because, Flulu, they're our child. It's our responsibility to keep them safe. You're not keeping anyone safe by coddling them, your mom almost shouts, and your dad flinches in shock. Goobers' survival depends on them understanding the planet we're living on, so you're not doing them or the colony any favors by pretending like that's not the case. I can take care of myself. You point out that you saved Professor Hal when you were only 11, so clearly you can handle yourself. Your dad's shoulders sag as he shakes his head. You barely even know what's out there, kiddo, he mutters. Your mom's fierce expression softens. Hey, Goobers, sorry. It's your birthday today, and here we are arguing like a pair of assholes. Happy birthday. They both give you a hug. We meant to order up from the canteen and have your usual birthday up breakfast, but we got to talking about how Utopia's opened up positions and expeditions for kids 13 and older, and, well, that's you now. I suppose we'll have to let you spread your wings someday, your dad relents. I just feel better knowing you were safe here inside the colony walls. He gives your mom a faint smile. We decided early on to let you choose your own path in life, so if you want to join expeditions, we're behind you. Just be safe. Mid-quiet. New perk. Draw an extra card at the start of challenge. Pretty good. That's a nice perk. No, Dad? You find your dad comparing some plant samples. When he sees you, he puts down the test tubes and gives you a big hug. Kiddo, he exclaims and kneels down to look you in the eye. I've been thinking. I want to say I'm sorry your mom and I were arguing on your birthday. We disagree sometimes, just like every other couple, but it's unfair that you had to see how the soy sauce gets made. I was really upset. Your dad's face falls. I know. I'm sorry, Gooseberry. Here, I hear the depot's open now. Go get yourself a piece of candy or something, on me. Your mom and I talked it out, he continues. We're both just really putting our everything into the farm right now, and it's making us kind of snappy. You don't have to worry about it, okay? He squeezes you in a hug. If you want to join Utopia's exploration team, just be careful. It's dangerous out there. After the first attack on the colony, they added lookout towers to the walls. Now you have a place to hang out if you don't feel like working, and because it's all the way up here, no adults are going to come ask you to run any errands for them. On rainy days, you take shelter under the pavilions and listen to the pitter-patter of worn raindrops on the grass roof. You can do whatever you want. This is alive. They actually help keep watch. Sometimes you offer to fill in on lookout duty so someone can go grab a meal. Maybe someday you'll be allowed to work full shifts as a lookout yourself, but you find out it's not as relaxing as you think. Hey Goobers. Dice pops his head up a nearby ladder and looks surprised to see someone else here. Do you mind if I stay here too? Here, there's plenty of room. The two of you dangle your feet off the side and watch the valley below. Dice shuffles a little uncomfortably and doesn't say much. You wonder if this was his private spot to be alone before you discovered it. Did not like that card I just got rid of. Persuasion is 47. The nano printer breaks down and Seek is furious. They're convinced you did something to break it, but you didn't. It was just like that. Early pollen. Dad.
Hello, my little tomato.
Your dad's voice rings out across the fields, hale and hearty. You don't have it in yourself to be embarrassed. Not during pollen, not with the memory of him struggling to breathe so fresh in your mind.
Are you coming to check on your old man?
He teases you. He takes a deep breath, holds it, and lets it all out comfortably.
I'm doing great. No congestion, no sneezing, and I definitely don't want to take a hike outside the walls.
Your dad pulls you into a big hug, ruffling your hair. He smells like sunshine and dirt and sweat, and you've never been happier to breathe it all in. He's alive.
I'm proud of you, he says quietly. You can pull off miracles, kiddo.
Ooh, log. You fill requisition forms in the depot. All month. It's mind-numbing work, but at least it's easy and it's better than delivering things. Gotta relax. You love the mechanics in this game? Yeah, it's really great. I love how it works. I like that we build cards from memories. I think that's a really neat mechanic. You're sitting up on a corner of the walls when you notice something unusual. It's Dice. He's crawling out through a drainage pipe in the wall and sneaking out. You watch him carefully slide the heavy metal grate back into place behind him, then disappear into the nearby trees. Leave him be, I'm no snitch. Well, that's just none of your business, is it? You make a note of where Dice came out, just in case you decide you'd like to sneak out on your own one day, too. You could come and go via his secret drainage pipe entrance between the sports ball pitch and the garrison pavilion. Do I get rid of the two? I'm gonna get rid of the two. You're getting older. It's that magical time in your life, full of discoveries and possibilities, when children become adults and their bodies change in weird, wonderful, and often embarrassing ways. When you were younger, Congruence gave your class a frank presentation about preparing for the changes your bodies would experience in the last few years. Which parts of the presentation was relevant to you? None of it. I'm like a doll down there. Thanks to gene tech, your body doesn't need to conform to expectations for sex and gender. It's the future. You and your friends giggled their way through Congruence's presentation and left with a new appreciation for the wonders of the human body. Puberty had felt like something that would happen so far in the future that it didn't apply to you. You put it out of your mind, even as you noticed Cal's voice begin to drop or Mars starting to dress differently. Until one morning, you wake up and something feels different. You can tell you're in a weird mood before you even open your eyes. The sound of your parents moving around your quarters irritates you. Why can't they be quiet? Why do you all have to live in the same room? Can't they just leave you alone? You throw up your privacy curtain and snap at them to shut up. Your mom and dad blink at you in shock for a few seconds. Then your mom's face goes red. Excuse me, kid. You do not speak to people like that. You're not the boss of me. Your mom opens her mouth to yell at you, but your dad raises his hands for peace.
Hey now, let's walk it back a bit, he says diplomatically. Goobers, you can't expect total silence when we all live together like this. If you're cranky in the mornings, you need to go to bed earlier. Teenagers need more sleep.
Your mom opens her mouth again, but your dad continues.
Lulu will try to be quieter. Goobers is telling us that they are starting to need more space, right?
He's so reasonable, it just makes you even more angry. How dare he try to understand? You roll over in bed and sulk until they leave. You end up sulking for so long that you miss the window for breakfast in the canteen. So now you're hungry and upset. You scroll the colony's social media to try to take your mind off whatever is going on with you today, and happen to see a photo of your friends hanging out together in the construction lot beside engineering. That just makes it worse. Your friends are having fun without you. Even though you chose to skip breakfast, it feels like a personal insult. How dare they? Don't they know you're sad? What is happening? You feel on the edge today. Like everything that happens feels so unfair and tragic. Like you want to punch stuff and then cry about it. Like you want to be alone, but you also desperately want attention. It feels like a fount of new energy is starting to bubble up inside you. Dangerous, uncontrollable energy. Welcome to puberty, goobers. Late pollen. Okay, what was that? It was Tangent, right? Yeah. You tell Tangent you know where Dice has been going. You tell her he's been sneaking out to explore the jungle. Not far away, but outside the walls. Pang was concerned. Really? She says, wringing her hands. Is it safe? I'll keep him safe. He eyes you skeptically. Full offense, Goobers, but you're just a kid, she replies. However, I suppose it's good to know he isn't out alone out there. Anything to pick up? I didn't see anything. Maybe I'm not looking carefully enough. Nah, it doesn't look like there's anything to pick up right now. You feel a requisition for climbing gear for the surveyors. Ropes, clamps, pythons, stuff like that. As you pack it up, you wonder if you're missing out on exploring Vertumna by sitting behind a desk. Well, you guys, even brave explorers need someone to make their supplies. Ah, this is a lot better. I think Airheads is fair. No, it was definitely better when they're all blue. Push through, 5 stress. 6 organizing to persuasion. Yeah, why not adventure outside? +1 to social cards. Yellow cards give +1 in social challenges. How do I sneak out? I'm brave enough. Well, I'll be, Utopia drawls, grappling you playfully. You ain't lying, kid. You got grit. She scans a roster on her holopomp. Yup, looks like you're approved to start with the junior service teams, and you look like you won't wilt at the first sting of slapgrass. We'll keep you close to begin with, round here in the prosaic plains. Come see me when you're ready for assignment. Survey the plains. +3 perception. Events in this area can be done in any order. They won't cause time to pass, but will increase your stress. Return home via the Expedition's depot flag or the home button at the top left of the screen. Watch for collectible items you can bring back as gifts. Events respawn at the beginning of each year, and new collectibles have a chance to appear every season. When you boarded the Expedition's autobus this morning, you didn't know what to expect. It trundles you and the other surveyors a few clicks north to the prosaic plains, a high, flat area with cooler weather than your colony. You could barely control your excitement as you watched the landscape change. And now you're here. You're finally old enough for a real survey mission away from the colony. You grace Chief Surveyor Utopia at the depot. This here's a blast cutter, she says, handing you one. It's a tool for cutting and heating things. You can use it to make a fire, cauterize a wound, boil water, and it cuts some materials pretty alright. You can use it for self-defense too, but I don't suggest it. Are we gonna be in danger? He makes a so-so motion with her hand. This is a quiet area, and what we're doing, we're not supposed to be in danger. We're just gonna be taking notes and pictures, keeping track of all the flora and fauna we see. Just don't touch anything, unless I ask you to take a sample. Everything is potentially dangerous. We don't know much about what's out there, which is why we need surveyors, even youngins like you. The prosaic plains are a sparse region, like you can assume from the name. You can see things from a long way off. Utopia sees you squinting at the horizon. And what are you gonna do if you see someone coming for you? Avoid it. Good kid, Utopia approves, patting you on the back. We don't need any trouble. Dice joins you. He must have come on an earlier autobus. Ah, good you're here, Utopia says, taking out another plas cutter for Dice. You two greenhorns are with me for the foreseeable future. Now, we don't gotta sniff each other's butts all the time out there, but I do expect y'all to be in yelling distance. Comms can get spotty out here. Utopia also hands you a surveying drone and shows you how to launch it. It'll automatically perform local scans wherever you go, though detailed scans still need to be done manually. When you return here to the depot, it'll upload its findings to the HoloNet. Your job is to cover ground, see what's out there, and so long as it isn't dangerous, record it. She slaps you on the back. Alright team, don't get yourselves killed out there, okay? One of your jobs as a surveyor is to document the flora and fauna through photographs. You see a skittish flock of really long insects. Each one has 10 to 20 sets of wings, like long rods with knobbly bits at regular points. They're moving so fast they're almost a blur. You've got a camera built into your holopalm, but it's not equipped to capture difficult spots like this. You'll need to put in the work. Find a good angle. This is a perception check. God, my reds are so low. My cards are not very good. Oh, this one has a gem on it. You climb up a tree and get an angle from above, not disturbing your subject. It comes out great. Very avant-garde. Utopia's glad for the shot. It's Vertumnalia. Time for speeches, games, and feasting. You stare hungrily at the feast table. Sure, it's mostly soy rations, but it's still more food than you usually see all the time. There's some potato pods and some roasted slabs of fungi and a few dishes of earth vegetables from the greenhouses. You try to sneak some food before the speeches starts, but Chief Engineer Instance catches you and smacks your hand away. Your mom gets really mad at her, and it causes a huge yelling match. Your dad directs you away from the table as Instance blames your mom for the way things are right now, whatever that means. Your dad passes you a soy sweet to help keep your tummy busy during the speeches. He's the best. Governor Yudakot takes the stage and manages to calm everyone down. Welcome everyone to our 4th Vertumnalia celebration, she says, speaking through a maxiphoner. Her voice has been getting weaker lately and can't reach across the square the way it used to. I'm proud as always to stand before you as your governor and to celebrate another year of peace and prosperity on this beautiful planet. Yudakot steps aside, wobbling a little as she walks, leaving Seeks to complete the annual formalities. Your mom steps forward. Before we get to the feast, I'd like to thank our cultivators for their hard work this year, she says. As you know, we lost our hydroponics and microbial soil during the wormhole accident, and it's been difficult to grow anything in Vertumnan soil without them. So our output isn't where it should be. I'm sorry. A ripple of concern murmurs to the crowd, and your mom continues. We're doing our best in geoponics, and I'm proud of each and every member of our team. Hopefully next harvest will be better. Yudakot's weedy voice rattles to the maxiphoner. Thank you, everyone. Let's get on with the games. The crowd packs away the chairs as the children gather in the square. Which competition do you participate in this year? Talent show? I could just watch. You take a look at the science experiments. I need to take a break. You've heard Security Chief Rhett is on the lookout for lookouts. That is, for kids to chill out on top of the walls all afternoon and count Xenos. Sounds way better than going to class. He gives you a once-over, eyes narrowed. Alright, he says. Look over there at the end of the field. What does that sign say? Refuse to play his game. Rhett looks pinched that you bothered him for nothing. Following orders saves lives, goobers, he says. I had to learn that when I was your age. He turns away from you. You're lucky you haven't needed to yet. Should I go to class? Persuasion is pretty high. It's at 53 now. Hi, kids. The ship's onboard intelligence, Congruence, glides into the room on her ceiling track, and the class cheers. Congruence is so cool. She's like a person, but also a machine. She knows a lot of jokes and can tell you anything about space. She never gets bored or frustrated by your questions. You all won't know me, she says, but I'll bet some of you have questions about how I work. What do you want to know? What's your job? Well, right now, part of me is showing animal videos to children in the creche, and part of me is here teaching you, but most of me is monitoring the engines which give us power, and the life support systems that make it comfortable in here. How do you know so many things? My brain is big, she explains. It's just enormous, really. Much bigger than this little monitor you see here, and it's connected to the ship's holonets, so anything you can look up on your holopomps, I just know. You had to eat and poop? She laughs, which has never sounded quite the same as a real person's laugh to you. I guess you could say I eat electricity, but not in the same way you get energy from food. But no, I have never pooped. I think it sounds kind of neat, actually. Congruence explains that she had to do all kinds of calculations to help fly the ship and land it, and that she was designed to provide a user-friendly interface to the ship's systems. But hell has modded me to be far more than that, she says proudly. Now I can even tell jokes. Why did the computer cross the road, she says. Just listen. Congruence smiles widely. I don't have enough good memories for these challenges. Ooh. Bobber fruit. Work in the depot. Mars always wants you to finish your work quickly so you can goof off or read Holomax together. If C catches you, they'll just find more work for you to do. Mid-wet. Organizing is at 85. Wow, it's almost maxed out. You make sure the shelves are always stocked with the essentials. Toothpaste, floss, painkillers, menstrual supplies, various medicated creams, generic underwear and socks, and more boring, mundane things. People on Earth probably thought that living on another planet would be exciting, but it turns out you're still human with the same human needs. I have so many tough cards. Late wet. Okay. Time to take a little break. Over here. Relax on the walls. Most of the time you're alone up here except for the occasional passing guard, but sometimes you're joined by Dice. He rarely looks up at you as you plop down and kick your feet through the railing and over the edge. He looks like he's doodling on his holopad. You see all sorts of plants, mushrooms, little creatures with too many eyes or too many legs. He has a selection of plant samples at his side, like artist paintbrushes laid out on his towel. He must be quite the junior botanist. He's not drawing plants right now, though. He's actually drawing a person, and not anyone you recognize from the colony. They have long, dark hair and a pointed face, and are covered from neck to toe in floaty black robes. Look neat. You wonder if they're Dice's original character or something, like his super cool goth self-insert. That looks nice. Dice smiles shyly, but doesn't look away from his drawing. Thanks, he mumbles. I'm not very good at drawing him yet. Get rid of this one. Okay, it's glow now. Hello, Patrick. Welcome back. You accidentally delete a requisition instead of filling it. 2 days later, you're dealing with an absolutely furious chief engineer instance who apparently really needed that medicated cream. Geez, alright, no need to get upset. Okay, they're all yellow now. Why is this blue? Let's shoot a card. And stress. Another year, another glow. Everyone's pretty sure there's going to be an attack this year, so the colony is on high alert. You're collecting glowflies in the geoponics gardens with Kel and Buddy when the sirens begin to wail. You all stop what you're doing and look at each other nervously. Your parents went off to help defend the farms, telling you to get inside the greenhouses and stay quiet. Buddy declares she's going to the walls to watch the soldiers fight. She knows a good spot. Help defend the gates. You scramble down from the walls and are immediately faced with a seething wall of hop eyes. You kind of thought there were only a handful of these usually peaceful creatures in previous years, but there's swarms of them now.
Ticked _off_ Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
Thank you for the yeehaw. And not just hop eyes. Once your eyes adjust to the chaos, you can see large creatures that look like walking bushes. These wild centipede-looking things with long spider legs. And at least one giant mini-eyed thing that's hovering clear off the ground, defying gravity. They all seem to be incited into a frenzy, attacking everything in sight and trying to get through the walls. It's dark and chaotic. Tom sees you through the fray. "Goobers!" he shouts. "Get to safety!" You're certainly not sure this is a good idea, but then you look up and see Buddy shouting encouragement from up on the wall. Fight bravely. Making it with guts for what you lack in sense or skill, you charge in without a plan, or a real weapon. You're immediately rammed in the side by what looks like a living pile of rocks, and you go down. You see sky, then dirt, then sky again as you're tossed through the air, before you land in a heap at the base of the wall. Through the ringing in your ears, you can hear Buddy screaming for Com to help. Run away. You stumble to your feet, body vibrating with adrenaline. You can feel blood trickling over your face, and it hurts like someone stabbing you in the chest when you breathe. Hum runs over and sends bolts of energy coursing from a stun glove to the creature, but being mostly comprised of rock, it seems unfazed. It does, however, swing its head to look at him, giving you a chance to flee. Run away. Tom's right, this is no place for a kid. You take the chance to flee to where Buddy is, rushing to take you to the med bay. You'll definitely need some time to recover from your injuries, but you're able to return home later that night. Your parents are arguing quietly at your table. I'm telling you it wasn't a fluke, your mom says. They're not just wild animals. They have a plan. The fields, the lights. Okay, your dad replies, taking her hands across the tabletop. We have to tell people what we saw in geoponics. They look up, noticing you in the doorway. Your dad's worried expression quickly changes to a smile. Hey, Rutabaga. Then he sees that you're limping, still a little loopy from the med bay. Goobers, what happened? Are you hurt? What happened to the fields? Your mom stands up. Don't worry about that, she snaps. Get to bed. It's late, and we have a lot of work to do tomorrow to clean up. Early quiet. Age 14. Everyone's changing. The dad is cute, yeah. You see a notice on the engineering holoweb. Focus on your own studies. Professor Hal is looking for someone to help with after-school tutoring. You should know the basics and be a quick study for the rest. Please apply. Focus on your own studies. You can't very well teach others until you learn the material yourself. It's your birthday. You wake from a night of blissfully peaceful dreams. No nightmares, no premonitions. Just a pleasant feeling of contentment. You stretch your arms over your head, blinking to the watery, quiet sunlight that seeps through the porthole window. Things are always changing over Tomb now, but you can't help but feel like things are changing for yourself too. Not just your body, but your mind, your emotions, your future. 14 is going to be your year. Your parents have been working around the clock since the last attack, trying to get the fields right again in time for this year's planting. Spark snow has already started falling, and every day they come home complaining about having to clear it. They ask you to ping them when you're awake so you can share birthday breakfast in your quarters instead of sitting shoulder to shoulder with everyone else during breakfast service in the canteen. You fire them a message and lie back in your bunk, watching dust motes float lazily in the light. After a minute, there's a knock at the door. It's Auntie Sedent. She sweeps into your room in a bustle of skirts and shawls and sits down beside you on your bunk. Oh, look at you, she says. Happy birthday, beautiful. 14 years old. She leans in and gives you a motherly kiss on the forehead. It's been years since she took care of you in the children's crash, but all the kids still call her auntie and think of her as a close relative. Her sweet bacon bread smile is as comforting as it ever was. She sits back and takes one of your hands in both of hers. Goobers, ever since I held you in my arms as a baby, I knew you were so special, so important. You're becoming a young adult, but I want you to know I will always be here for you, just like your mom and dad, she says firmly. Thanks, Auntie Sedent. She smiles and tucks an unruly lock of your hair behind her ear. I guess you're old enough to call me Aunt Anne now if you like, or even just Anne. Now come on in here, Aunt Anne says, spreading her arms wide. Give us a big great hug. You hug her, enveloping yourself in the warm and familiar softness of her. Over her shoulder, you see Buddy standing in the doorway. Well, her hair anyway. She's been growing it out, and there's no hiding it behind a corner. She skips into your quarters. Happy birthday, Bud, she says, bouncing on your bunk. Way to get older. Enjoy being 2 years older than me for a few months. Thanks. I thought you were on your way to med bay, Anne tells to her. And Buddy shrugs. Anne turns to you. Annie is supposed to get her menstruation cessation implant today, she says. Mom, Buddy hollers. Gross! Goobers doesn't want to hear about my period. Anne smiles fondly at her daughter. It's nothing to be ashamed of, Annie. Getting your period is a beautiful thing. It reminds us that we have the ability to make life. It's a sign you're growing up and becoming an adult and ready to take on the responsibility of taking care of that life. Buddy wrinkles her nose and throws herself on the bed. I'm never making life. Ew, pass. Flirts with Anemone. Flirting with everyone. That's okay, Patrick. I like the dinos. Buddy flush is the same color as her hair. Oh, knock off, she mutters, scratching her neck. Don't be weird in front of my mom, goobers. You thought Buddy was a dude? I gave... her name's Anemone and I gave her the nickname Buddy. I kind of regret it. I should have tried to come up with a different nickname. Buddy does look different, in a good way. More grown up. You tell her that her hair is pretty and she rolls her eyes. I just forgot to cut it, okay? She says, avoiding your gaze. Your parents finally arrive, still damp from the fields, and bring in the smell of crisp, tangy snow on their clothes. Oh, look, birthday visitors, your dad exclaims. Anne, are you staying for breakfast? Anne reaches into her bag and brings out a stack of tiffins. No, thank you, but I brought your order with me from the kitchen, seeing us was stopping by. She pats her hand one more time. Happy birthday again, goobers. You'll always be my baby, even when you're all grown up. Your mom shakes her head as Anne and Buddy leave. Oh, Anne, she laughs, sentimental to the core. She starts laying out the cutlery for breakfast, but I don't know how the colony would manage without her in the children's crash. She says, and points a fork at you. Family is more than the people that birthed you, goobers, and don't you forget it. Hello, Jacob. My day was good. How about you? Got 1 hour and a half left. Your day was great. That's good. That's nice to hear. Do anything special today? I'm just walking back and forth. Oh, I picked up a glittering crystal cluster. One minute left. Okay, I'm back. What do I do today? Organizing is almost maxed out. Oh, I thought that was a crystal cluster. It wasn't. I need 80 persuasion. That's my next goal. You and Mars come up with a game involving whether or not the next requisition will have an even or odd quantity of items. She plays for 3 rounds before declaring it too boring and going back to reading a magazine on her hollow palm. You're right, Patrick. Am I really sure? I don't think so. I'm gonna have to go to the walls again. Got rid of a 0 card. Organizing is at 97. I need more persuasion though. How do I get more persuasion? Sorry, give me a few seconds. Bye, Patrick. Professor Howell hands you a stack of blank paper and a box of pencils and asks you to pass them out to the class.
Today in humanities class, we'll be practicing our handwriting, he announces.
You hear Tangent groan beside you. But Professor Howell, she whines, why would we ever need to write by hand when we have hollow palms?
This exercise will be part of history lesson. Part history lesson, part future skill, Hal tells the class. We may not always have hollow palm technology here in our little colony. Our replicators and computers will break down eventually, and when they do, we'll have to rely on low-tech solutions to everyday tasks. Now, so first lesson, how to correctly hold a pencil.
You and the other students get to work learning how to print by hand. It's a little bit like holding a stylus, but the texture is all wrong. Your letters are small and cramped, and you have trouble keeping them in a straight line. Hang, though, is suffering the worst. Ha! Mars laughs. Looks like we finally found something Tang isn't good at. Look, she keeps mixing up her lowercase a's and e's. Tang is used to using a stylus with her hollow palm. but she's never actually drawn the letters. She fumbles like a child bashing her fist against a holopalm for the first time. It's painful to watch. You can tell she's getting more frustrated with each letter. Mars, on the other hand, has lovely penmanship. She can even write in cursive. My papa taught me when I was little, she says, showing off her paper. Cultured people know how to write for real. Writing by hand, I'll help you, Tangent. I don't need your help, Tang sneers. She hates being bad at something, but being patronized is even worse. Just let me do it myself, she grumbles, balling up her 5th piece of paper and tossing it on the floor. Mars laughs, but after a few minutes of tense silence, she looks over to Tang's work. You're pressing too hard, Mars tells her softly. Loosen your grip. It's different from writing in the air with a stylus. Try moving with your shoulder instead of your wrist and fingers. Tang takes a deep breath and tries again, slow and deliberate. Mars nods and slides closer, putting her hand over Tang's and guiding her pencil on the paper. There, see? You're getting it, she murmurs. Tang's cheeks go pink. After a minute, Tang eases her tension and her writing starts to flow more naturally. Thanks, she stammers, pushing her chair away from Mars. You're at lunch with your parents. Sliced soy cakes and watery broth again. Great. When they put down their cutlery and look at each other, then you. Goobers, your mom says, there's something we should tell you. We've tried to shelter you from some things, but we think you should know why we've been working so hard in geoponics. There's a meeting after lunch, and I want you to come with us. I already know about the food. Your parents exchange surprised looks. What you do? Your mom asks, how? You scramble to explain that they haven't exactly been subtle. The amounts in Vertumnalia, plus how stressed they've been. You can put the pieces together. No, you didn't live in a dream of a past life. Your mom smiles. Our little kid is more mature than I realized. Still, I want you there. Sure. You follow your parents to the council room. Mars is also tagged along, and you take a seat near them as your mom and Aunt Anne stand to address the council. After Unicott officially calls the meeting, she gestures to your mom. I'm not going to mince words, your mom says firmly. All of our efforts to increase food production in geoponics have failed, and the destruction of the fields during the last attack put the nail in our coffin. By the end of the year, the colony will run out of food. The rest of the council murmurs in concern. You and Mars exchange horrified looks. You've been doomsaying about our food supply for 2 years, Flulu. Red questions. Do you mean to say we're past the point of no return? Your mom nods grimly. I'm afraid so. Even with rationing, with us securing a Vertumnan food source, our supplies will run out by wet season. She gestures to Anne, whose face is grave. Anne and I have gone over the supplies and come up with food plans. We've crunched the numbers. Your mom sighs and spreads her hands. I'm sorry. Geoponics should have been producing better by now. We should have been able to wean ourselves off of soy rations. During wormhole transits, when we lost our hydroponics in the hole breach, she sighs again. I know I've said it so many times, but our crops just don't grow here. We needed those algae tanks. We needed the microbial soil from Earth. It's not. The survival of the colony shouldn't rest on one person's shoulders. It's not fair. She's been working harder than anyone. She did everything she could. The council mumbles agreement. You decide they probably never really blamed her or your dad. The only holdout is Mars, who crosses her arms and grumbles that it's clearly a problem with leadership. So what do we do now? Instance asks. Starving to death isn't an option. No, it isn't, your mom replies. We need to secure our food sources here before our rations run out. We're working double shifts in geoponics, but it's not enough. We need more people planting, tending, turning the soil. We need more hands. I can pull back the surveyors and focus on foraging native plants, Utopia offers. Even the young folks can help if they've proven themselves around the survey equipment. I'll send out a holo message later. This has been the burden of geoponics for too long, Unicott says. It's time we all step up for our future. The council nods in agreement. Your stomach rumbles ominously. What should I do? forage in the valley. +2 perception, +2 biology. Tell her what you learned today. You've been learning about different organizational methods in school. Alphabetical, chronological, Dewey Decimal. Honestly, it sounds like a lot of work. Why would you bother to organize anything when you can just ask congruence to find whatever you need? It's just paperwork. Do you even know why we call it paperwork? Your mom laughs. It's true, it's not like you're sorting actual paper. Back on Earth, we used to have to use paper too. Oh, nah, never mind. She slaps you in the back. Good for you for having your head together. Let's forage in the valley. Utopia greets you warmly as you muster for your first expedition with the foraging team. Goobers, I'm glad you can make it. We need everyone who can get out here right now, boosting our food supplies. I'll do my best. Good luck hunting out there, she says, handing you an oversized backpack. More like a basket than a pack. Use your holopon to identify edible and medicinal plants and just throw them in here. I'll sort them back at base camp. Oh, and keep on the lookout for creatures. It's pretty peaceful out there in the valley, but even a little bug will get you if you're not careful. Go slow, pay attention to your surroundings. If you're unsure about something, don't approach it. Stay on the path and don't get lost. We don't call it the Valley of Vertigo for nothing. Any questions? What's a fine lady like you doing in a place like this? You cheeky hop-eye, she laughs, shaking her head and vigorously waving her hands to shut you up. You making fun of my accent? Go on now, you rascal, get! The Valley of Vertigo. Your path is blocked by a massive 8-legged xenofauna, something between a spider and a squid and a bear. It's in a rage, grunting furiously and bashing itself against trees and rocks at random. You duck and hide as it glares in your direction, its breath heaving and dozens of eyes gleaming with madness. You remember a creature in your bestiary that sort of sounds like this monster. They were called Riki, but were much, much smaller. You don't exactly have time to look it up now. Sing to it. Animals challenge. Oh, the goal is 76? Oh no, my cards are too weak for that. Whoops. New cards in the depot. Ooh. Something about the ground here draws your attention. It's oddly lumpy. What's with that? Flip it out. My god. Oh my god, these cards are 2s, 1s, and 0s. Oof. You take a few steps and the ground caves in. You sink up to your thigh in the foul-smelling, sticky liquid underneath. Ugh, gross! What is... Oh, it's just a patch of unripe rotado. You must have ruptured their membranous skin. Unfortunately, unripe rotado smell awful, and so will you for the rest of the expedition. Oh my god, I'm getting so stressed out. Oh no, it's another Vriki! You come across not just one Vriki, but a whole swarm of them. Mostly just baby ones about the size of your head. They're all amassed around a massive tree, scurrying up and down the trunk. When you can see the tree itself under the swarm, you notice it's the same pale pink as the baby Vriki. Its tentacle-like roots meander a fairly large distance before plunging into the ground. When the Riki see you approach, they get agitated, and they look hungry. Definitely hungry, like dozens of hungry grapefruit-sized furry pink spiders, the stuff of nightmares. Fight them! What's my bravery at? It's at 29. Not me fighting the freaky with these weak cards. Whoops. That was a waste. I didn't even get perception up. Okay, well, gonna have to relax now. You're enjoying some quiet time in the walls when you look down and see a group of school children on a field trip outside the walls. Yeah, let's get rid of this baby one. It's a 0. You're headed off on lunch break when you see Mars and Tang sitting together in the engineering break room. Tang is eating a sandwich while also scrolling her holopalm with it, and Mars is half collapsed on the table, barely holding her head up on her hand as she pouts at Tang. Come on, she whines. You said we were gonna hang out after lunch. Aren't you done eating yet? Tang takes a slow, deliberate bite of her sandwich and chews while making eye contact with Mars. It goes from funny to awkward to hilarious as Mars's face falls, and she puts her head on the table and groans. Proper mastication is important for digestive health, Tang answers primly, a smile curling at the corner of her mouth. You can masticate in private, Mars mutters. What are you reading, and how is it more important than me, your best and only friend on the planet? Just something for work, Tang answers. It's really interesting. I didn't know Dr. Instance was so well published, even though she was only 25 when the Strato left Earth. She was practically a prodigy like me. She looks at her holoscreen again. It's absolutely fascinating. We're so lucky to have such an accomplished researcher here on Butumna. Read over Tang's shoulder. You take a seat at the table and sneak a look at Tang's screen. You catch a few words. Recombinism, tissue tropism, RNA, protein sheaths, intrinsic immunity, maybe something to do with viruses? From the pictures, possibly also fungi? Without further examination, it's hard to tell. Tang notices you look and shuts off her holopalm, shooting you a cool look. Don't look at me, I don't get it. Me neither, Mars adds. I'm sure glad I don't have to do all that egghead stuff. Sounds boring, TBH. Luckily, no one is making either of you read over my shoulder, Tang says, and takes another purposeful bite of her sandwich. You've been eating for like half an hour, Tang, come on, Mars says, pulling her hands down her face. Please, can we do something fun before some rampaging Xeno eats us? We're both too pretty to die of boredom. Tang smiles. You think I'm pretty, Mars, she says, seeming genuinely curious. Mars sets her hand on top of Tang's. The prettiest, she swears, her other hand over her heart. Even prettier than me. Well, I mean, I win in the looks department, but I think smart women get, like, extra points. Tang says, putting her hand on top of Mars's hand, idling in to fix Mars with an unusually flirtatious expression. Yes, do tell me all about my great beauty, she deadpans. It's all I live for. Mars laughs and tosses her hair over her shoulder, and you two them out in favor of eating your lunch before you're expected back in engineering. Get to work. Ah, I won that handily. It's time for Vertumnalia, the yearly midsummer celebration when the colony gives thanks for its good fortune. Well, it would be, but as you file into the main square, you can't help but notice that the feast table is nearly empty. When Anne lacked the resources she made up with care, the dishes are lovingly plated. Soy cakes glisten, steam rises from buns stuffed with mince, and there are great pictures of vegetable broth rendered out from even the most inedible food scraps. There's a neat stack of sugar cubes for dessert. Whole sugar, what a luxury, and an underwhelming feast, that'll be the highlight. Governor Udicott's welcoming speech this year is short. Her frail body trembles as she welcomes you all to Vertumnalia with a dry, whispery voice that has to be helped off stage. Like all of you, she has been feeling the effects of the famine. Everyone clears away the chairs for the annual competition. Which one do you participate in this year? You and Mars report to the stage for the talent competition. Dice is nowhere to be seen. Mars frowns, looking around as if he's lying in wait. Oh, boo, she grumbles. You always made me look good. If it's just you, I'm only the best out of two. Mars has been working on her speechcraft. This year, she gives a speech inspired by great leaders of Earth, linking their philosophies into a sort of mega-theory about how the greatest works of human history have come from overcoming our greatest struggles through ingenuity and cooperation. She can't help herself from drawing parallels to the current famine, the failure of colony leadership to prepare for it, and how the council clearly needs newer, younger voices to be able to imagine the future. The council isn't impressed by that part. Because it's Mars, the climax of the speech resolves with inspirational music and fireworks. It's very exciting. You're up. What have you prepared? An original song. I need to get rid of this baby card. Mars's act was a tough one to follow, but a talent show is judged by audience applause. Given how tired and hungry everyone is, your lighthearted and simple song is what the people really want. Mars looks miffed at the snub, but shakes her hand. Geniuses are really appreciated in their time, she says. After the festivities, the whole colony takes a few days off for a break. Well, except for geoponics, and the foragers, and the kitchens, and everyone who uses the break from their usual works to help out in places that didn't close. Okay, it's not really a break, but you try to take it easy anyway. We're in mid-dust. Goobers is not built for foraging. Always tough to decide what to do. There's some sort of emergency in engineering that requires house attention, so today's class will be taught by the ship's artificial intelligence, Congruence. Good morning, Congruence chirps. Today we're going to talk about the formation of the Vertumna group and a decision to leave Earth. It's a very exciting topic, and we think you're finally ready to hear about it. Let's dig in. You know how it started. Economic and environmental instability, coupled with deeply entrenched hatreds, had thrown the Earth into chaos. And you know how it ended. In that chaos, your parents formed the Vertumna group with the plan to leave Earth. 20 years later, they and their star-born children, you, slid through a wormhole and ended up here on a planet you called Vertumna. There's so much you don't know. Congruence pulls up a hollow projection of an unassuming human with a firm maternal gaze. This is planktonic ascendant, Wayne Botha Schmidt, she says, the spiritual leader of the Vertumna movement. They were what people called a speculative fiction writer. The Vertumna project proved that their writing, though speculative, was far from fiction. Wait, a sci-fi author? Yes, Congruence tells you. Their best-selling novel, Life Beyond the Einstein-Rosen Bridge, told the story of a fictional utopia on the other side of the real-life anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Scientists had been investigating the wormhole for years, but it took a poet to imagine we could travel through it. Botha Schmidt's writing centered around the idea of humanity building a technological utopia on another world. Translated to 100 languages, this was a compelling idea to people at the time, so fans started connecting in VertSpace. Far from just a book club, these people bonded over mutual aid amid the increasing unrest in their own countries. They were committed to Botha Schmidt's idea of a future where everyone is treated equally without prejudice. But they realized it couldn't be done online, Congress tells you. Though committed to social justice, the group saw the impossibility of forming a truly egalitarian society while also reckoning with their own implicit biases and the diverse context of their real lives. They realized that this was the work of generations, and the solutions must look to the future as Botha Schmidt did. So they got together. The image of a squat concrete building with a rooftop garden replaces Botha Schmidt. Around the edges of the classroom, the hollow projector gives the impression of towering walls topped with razor wire. The first vTuber colony, Concurrence tells you. 400 people volunteered to sacrifice their own cultural beliefs to walk through these doors, agreeing to come up with a new way of life that would be taught to their children. Babies were conceived from egg and sperm donors chosen by lottery, and raised communally like you as the second generation of the vTuber group. Those babies were your parents. So they mixed their cultures. The hollow projection now shows the compound under siege. As more colonies were founded, word got out of the vTuber group's social experiments, Concurrence continues. Assimilationism was an unpopular ideology at the time because it had been used to commit terrible genocides on Earth. This, combined with panic the vTuber group was destroying the family unit or raising an army of gene-tech super soldiers, brought the colony under attack from all sides. Everyone fears what they don't understand. The image of the burning compound is replaced with a stratospheric on a launch pad. Luckily, the next phase of the vTuber project was ready to launch. 100 colonists were selected to leave Earth on a colony ship to see a far-flung corner of the universe with this new human culture. She smiles. The ultimate goal of the vTuber group was you, children, she says. A generation raised completely unburdened by troubles that plagued Earth. Isn't that lovely? But how did they build the ship? Orbital voyages were a hobby for the ultra-rich in an earlier century, so there were several relics to be found in museums, Congress replies. The difficulty was not in acquiring a ship, but in making it space-worthy and in the logistics of the launch itself. The group crowdsourced enough funding to purchase and repair the ship, Congress smiles. As for logistics, well, you are speaking to the solution right now. I was acquired by connected group members along with the gene tech that created you and your parents. The Stratospheric was the first manned vessel to navigate the wormhole at the edge of the solar system. Given the state Earth was in when it left, it may have been the last. What was Earth like when they left? Terrible. Congress shows you some dire demographics. The institutions that had given people the illusion of safety were torn down, and wars were rampant, both resource-based and ideological. Large parts of the Earth were rendered uninhabitable by climate change, pollution, and nuclear war, especially the critical food-growing regions of the world. The vTuber group weren't the only ones trying to escape Earth, but as far as we know, we are the only ones successful. So nobody on Earth was like us? The vTuber group members have a unique culture, Concurrence replies, but it's formed from a combination of many heritage from Earth. Even the language you speak, Esperanto, was invented to bring people together. And don't worry, Concurrence exclaims. You brought your best heritage with you. You're humans. So much information. Your head is so stuffed with ideas it might burst. Professor Hal and your parents never mentioned this stuff before. They waited to tell you because they wanted you to grow up without feeling different based on your genetic makeup or family history. It's hard to imagine having a different culture than your neighbors. You wonder what it's like. Everyone's celebrating different holidays, eating different foods, speaking different languages. Are you missing out, or are you better without it, like the original colonists believe? It's hard to say, as the decision was made for you long before you were born. All you can do is be the best goobers you can be. Mid-dust. Persuasion is at 67. Let's do more study. Let's study more humanities. Peng flags you down in the hallway. Oh, Goobers, do you have a moment? You go on an expedition sometimes, right? She asks. At least far more than I do, would ever wish to. So would you mind doing me a favor? Of course. It's a small thing, really, and I'm to understand it's not terribly dangerous either, Ting replies. I simply need you to bring me some hot-eye eggs the next time you come across a nest out there. I would ask Dice, but, well, she makes an evocative, dismissive gesture. I'll keep an eye out for them. That's all he asked, Ting replies primly. They're quite common if the reports from the foragers are to be believed. They tell me that they commonly find nests in the Valley of Vertigo. It's positively lousy with them. I can try going on an expedition, but I don't think I'm gonna find any hot-eye eggs. I can't even get back past the freaky. You come across a cluster of mushrooms. Are they edible? There's only one way to find out. Well, there are a few ways, if you're not a coward. Identify the mushrooms. Goal is 78. Damn. I failed it. It's a friend! A line of termite-like insects crosses the path here. Curious, you follow them to their destination. A massive sponge-like hive of crawling bugs writhing with life. The bugs are tending to larvae nestled in the holes of the sponge, feeding on the rich royal jelly that oozes from the hive. You step in for a closer look and hear a warning hiss from above. Atop the hive is a queen, whatever it is. Wait, no, she is the hive. Wait, this is a squeeger hive. Her abdomen is swollen and lodged in the ground here, rendering her immobile, but not defenseless. The hive queen groans and growls at you, and the air prickles with the burning flavor of acid. She must have some sort of defensive acid spray. That jelly looked pretty edible, though. Yeah, I didn't find any hot-eye eggs, and I didn't even raise perception. Only biology. Okay, I gotta hang out on the walls.
Jazz Adele Games just redeemed posture check.
Thank you for the posture check. Hello, Cass. Welcome back. You're doing creative writing in teams, and you're paired with Mars. You wish it was Tang. She always does so well on these. The theme is Earth's natural environment. My friend found me a link to small sizes of packaged cotton candy for airbending. Oh, that's a really good idea. Mars takes the topic at face value and wants to write about how beautiful everything was on Earth, with blue skies and green plants everywhere, and huge oceans that went forever. It always looks gorgeous in the carefully staged movies you've seen on holovids. Run with Mars's idea. Mars takes the creative part of creative writing literally, describing Earth's lush forests and verdant plains and deep jewel-like oceans with a reverence bordering on the obscene. She's pretty passionate about it, so you let her do most of the work. Mars insists she gets to present it to the class. This too is a good idea. Mars is a bored presenter. You aren't sure that it's totally based on facts, but it is received well by both your classmates and your teacher. You'll get a handful of kudos for doing well. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. It's been 3 seasons of heavy food rationing, getting more and more strict as the year dragged on, and the fields continue to struggle. You've been wasting away. Ye all have. It's not just a lack of calories, there just aren't enough vitamins and good stuff in the food you are eating. Your muscles ache all the time. Sometimes you feel strangely euphoric, filled with inexplicable energy, but often feels like there are weights tied to your shoulders pulling you down. You don't have the energy to do it anymore. Even the prospect of getting up to find food feels like too much effort. Better just to lie down and accept it. Despite being so tired you can't fall asleep, you spend entire days in a day's fog. It's hard to tell dreams from reality. Last week you were brushing your teeth when you noticed that some of your teeth were wiggling. You brushed and watched all your teeth begin to fall out of your mouth, clinking into the sink like pebbles and washing down the drain. Horrified, you started screaming, only to snap out of it and realize you'd been staring at yourself in the mirror the whole time, lost in a hallucination. Your friends stopped working and retreat to their quarters. You lied to each other on the HoloNet, all saying you're okay, just taking it easy, waiting for the harvest. Well, the harvest came and went as meager as ever. Your mother still hasn't given up and never rests, never stops working as much as your dad begs her to. She must be sleeping in geoponics because you hardly see her in the family quarters anymore. From where you lie nestled in your bed, in your cozy fugue, it all seems far too much effort to bother with. Drag your butt out of bed. You try, but end up collapsing off your bunk. You barely have the energy to climb back up into bed. You don't feel pain or fear, just a strong urge to lie there and stare at a poster of a pink cat on the wall, which you do for hours. You're pretty sure that behind those yellow disc eyes, it's trying to tell you something about the nature of the universe, the cycles of space and time. Have you been here before, or is this the first time? Your mom comes to your bedside and tries to feed you some of her rations. She looks like hell, sallow-eyed and gaunt, but she refuses to stop working. She says she can't keep the rations down anyway, they upset her stomach. Please, Goobers, she whispers, please eat. Refuse it. You stoically turn your nose up at your mom's rations, not sure you could stomach them anyway. You don't remember much from the next week except those all-knowing yellow eyes staring down from the poster on your wall, and your parents coming and going trying to get you to eat. Too weak to protest anymore, you eventually accept the extra rations. It's a relief when your head clears and you can walk again, but your mother still refuses to rest. Both your parents feel responsible for this famine, but as the head of geoponics, your mom takes it personally. She's been skipping meals, relying on water and pressed soy bar rations. Just enough calories to keep a body moving, but not enough to stay healthy. Yet she never lets up, working herself to the bone, barely even sleeping, increasingly sallow-eyed and gaunt. You and your dad try to slow her down, but, well, she's a stubborn woman. If not her, she says, then who? You and your dad are in the lounge, slowly sipping your vegetable broth when there's a commotion at the doors. Someone's run in, gasping for breath, yelling for you and your father to come to geoponics. No, it's just like before. It's just like your dreams. You and your father run to geoponics, but you know what you're going to see before you get there. Your dad sees her body first. He lets out a cry like something you've never heard before. A deep, unimaginable pain dragged up from the darkest parts of where fear lives. How do I prevent Goober's mom from dying? I don't know yet. Do I want the spoilers? Nah. I'll figure it out. Or I'll look it up. I think looking it up actually would be worse. So yeah, just tell me. How do I prevent her from dying? Your dad sees her body first. Damn. Tell me, yeah, just go ahead and tell me. Your dad falls to his knees beside the frail body of your mother. He pulls her into his arms and sobs, wretched and agonized. You don't even know what to think. Your mom always seemed larger than her body, but seeing her now, there's nothing there, just a fragile shell. There's a combo of stuff to do. So for Dad, I had to, it was just a coincidence that I was talking to Tang, and I helped her come up with a cure. They tell you she didn't even cry out. She just went to her knees and then laid down in the dirt, and that was it. You gotta go scavenging, especially in those pink forests. There's tons of food events there. You can also work a bunch of geoponics and make sure not to plant the pixie beans. Oh, okay. So when during my next playthrough, when I'm going to work with Cal in geoponics. She's gone. Your mother's body is taken to the incinerator room, and that night the colony gathers to pay their respects. I see, so I should have been foraging. Okay, I'll try that next time. Next playthrough. And don't plant the pixie beans? Yes, okay. The incinerator room has been cleared and a wreath of flowers has been placed over the mouth of the organics recycler. They're white astrontia, your mother's favorite flower, carefully carried from Earth with the hopes of it flourishing on Vertumna, just like you. You stand with your father and Aunt Anne. Utica and the rest of the council are there as well, including Rhett. You're surprised to see tears rolling down his face. Such a hard ass in the garrison. Hal is here with all the other agriculturalists. The rest of the colony waits in a canteen to offer their condolences after the service. Governor Utica gives the eulogy. As a colony, we share our blessings, she began solemnly. However, today in sad company we gather to share the burden of our grief. Fluorescent was born on Earth, but she, more than many of us, exemplified the spirit of our endeavor to bring life to beyond the stars. She bore life, not only in her body, but bringing it forth from the ground she so faithfully attended. The debt we owe to her is the kind that can never be repaid, she continues. It is with a deep and unbearable grief that we must continue on without her, in awe and respect for her sacrifice, the depth of which was never expected of her, but which she did not expect of anyone else. It's on her strong shoulders that she carries it still. Utica closes the door to the recycler, and the particle disintegrators begin to reclaim the molecules that once formed your mother. Your father squeezes your shoulder, making a small, choked-off noise of pain. As a community, we remember Fluorescent. As a community, we return her body to the soil that nourishes us. In this way, her sacrifice is recognized in the manifest body of the colony. The ceremony is adjourned to the canteen, where a somber wake is held in your mother's memory. There isn't enough food to dull the emotions, and your empty stomach only reminds you of her unfinished work. Your father is a new head of geoponics. In a few hours, he receives your mother's remains so that he can add them to the colony's precious supply of brown soil from Earth. You touch the cool lid of the container, marveling that your mother could fit in such a small box. You don't have to be okay, your dad says quietly. His voice is thick with emotion. I know I'm not. I have to keep going where she left off, but if you can, you should take some time off. Take the month off. It's glow now. The prospect of just going back to work like everything is normal is too much to handle. The sun's dipping below the horizon and glow begins. You end up spending the whole month alternating between sleeping, scrolling the holonet, and staring into space. It's restful, at least. A few days after the funeral, surveyors return with an unexpected bounty from the Valley of Vertigo. It's enough to survive for another month. Until the next year, maybe, if you keep rationing. The colony will continue to limp along, but without your mother. The roar wakes you. It would wake the dead. It shakes the walls, rumbles through the ship's hull, and makes your heart beat. You're paralyzed by a sudden clench of fear in your gut. Through your porthole window, you hear metal screeching and people shouting. Then another roar, guttural and rumbling like the sound of a mountain collapsing. Something enormous is out there. Stay indoors. Your dad can't hide the look of fear on his face, but he tries. Bye! Thank you for stopping by.
Sounds like we better get a move on to the assembly point, hey kiddo?
You head for the crèche together. You huddle with your buds. Mars, Tammy, Dice, Cal. Because it's the middle of the night, almost everyone was in their beds. Some people are still wearing the pajamas and sleep bonnets. Only Buddy is missing out. You're welcome. Only Buddy is missing. The children's crèche is buried deep in the belly of the stratospheric, making it one of the safest places you could be. Even so, the youngest children are scared and there's a lot of crying. Watch holovids with the younger ones. Somehow, even with the sirens blaring, some of the youngest drift off in your arms. After an hour, someone in the defense squad rushes in and orders everyone to leave the crèche. The battle is getting close to the stratospheric. Before you can even get everyone to their feet, you feel the ship lurch and resettle at a different angle. Something is attacking the ship itself. Tammy tries to gather the younger kids, but they're scattered in terror. They both tried to grab Nougat when, without warning, the entire wall of the crèche just peels away like a tin can, letting in a rush of cold night air tinged with the ozone of blast rifle fire. You look up and see it up close face to... Oh, this is when Calm dies, I think. It has no face. In place of a face or even a head, its body just unzips, revealing a mess of writhing pink tentacles and blinking eyes. Buddy and her brother Calm are among the security squad, trying wildly to divert it away from the living quarters. It smashes into the ship again and roars, calling up a terrible noise from somewhere within its seeping, wet craw, and Tammy screams. Tammy! She's fallen on the angled floor and is sliding towards the maw of the Faceless. Fight your fear and save Tammy. Bravery, easy. Glad it's easy. You crawl on your hands and knees down the steep slope of the floor towards Tammy. She and Nougat are clinging to the wreckage of the wall, wide-eyed and terrified as you approach. You grab Tammy and Nougat and help them stumble to safety. The Faceless is too focused on tearing the ship apart to even notice you. Your dad ushers you into the engineering wing, where you cower with the others, trying not to panic. All around you, metal screams and buckles, and great tremors vibrate through the ship. Finally, after what seems like hours, the noises stop and congruent sounds the all clear. Your dad checks the council bulletins on his holopalm. Oh no, he moans quietly. No, 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 no. The council calls an all-colony meeting to face the aftermath of the attack. In the oppressive gloom of glow, you gather near engineering with the other survivors. It's one of the few buildings still standing. The corpse of the Faceless still sits in the caved-in wreckage of the stratospheric, spilling its flaccid pink tentacles from its horrible zit-burn-toothed mouth. It is already beginning to stink. You can't forget what you saw. Your mind keeps replaying that terrible moment. The Faceless rearing up and obscuring the sky, Buddy and her brother looking so small before it. Governor Utica was killed by the smaller creatures that swarmed command during the attack. In her absence, Seek addresses the colony. The council acknowledges the bravery of the defense squad, citing their heroism in finally taking down the Faceless. If only it hadn't gotten away from them and stampeded right into the stratospheric. At least they stopped it before it got into engineering, as it would have activated the reactor left a crater the size of an asteroid impact. Geoponics is gone, the greenhouse is destroyed, and fields trampled. After a year of suffering, starving, and only barely scraping by, you're not just back where you started, it's even worse. Everything your mom sacrificed herself for, gone in one night. The entire front hall half of the stratospheric has been destroyed. The living quarters, the canteen, the garrison, the lounge, Even the creche, it's all gone. It's only by some stroke of luck that people hiding in the creche weren't all killed. Seek solemnly reads the names of those who lost their lives. Too many, including Governor Udicott. You all stand for a moment of silence. You feel the weight of loss like a blow to your chest. Buddy and her family cry out when her brother Comp's name is called, and their quiet sobbing continues through the silence. With the living quarters destroyed, everyone moves into the engineering wing for shelter. You're crowded into the classroom with other families. The adults try to make it seem like a sleepover, but you're all still so shaken. Tammy tells everyone what a hero you are for saving her. Buddy cries about her brother and screams at anyone who tries to comfort her. Eventually, you just ignore her grief, as painful as it is to hear her sobbing at night. You feel like you've been awake for days and you'll never fully sleep again. You try, but you keep jerking awake, crying out in fear. Eventually, you fall asleep sitting up, held in your father's arms. Your sleep is fitful, but mercilessly dreamless. Yeah, everything is destroyed. The depot is gone too. Engineering is crammed with families and what belongings they've salvaged from the destroyed living quarters. You could spend time in your crowded temporary lodging in the classroom or help the adults try to fix things. Rebuild. The first month of quiet passes, each day plodding one after the other. You still have trouble sleeping in the classroom barracks, but there's nowhere else to go. Every day you wake up with the others and try to make the best of it. Grief and anger come in waves, not just for you, but for everyone. Some days are better than others. You're assigned to help rebuild the walls. The first part of the month is spent just dragging away the wreckage, sorting it into salvage or recycling. By the time that's done, crews disassembling parts of the stratospheric have delivered enough salvage that you can begin work patching up the walls. A sense of urgency permeates the crew. After everything, people need to feel safe. Dice is on the work crew with you, something he does begrudgingly. Walls didn't help the first time, he grumbles whenever anyone asks for his opinion. We should just tear them all down and live like the animals do. If someone planted a bunch of buildings on my land, I'd be pissed too. Work hard. By the end of the month, you've made noticeable progress. There are other priorities and not a lot of construction material, but when last year's mushwood harvest is done drying out, you'll be able to do more. Even if Dice is right that it didn't help the first time, better than nothing. The suns finally dawn again on your birthday. You wake early and climb to the top of engineering to watch the first sun's watery rays break the horizon as the wormhole recedes across the sky. Dawn should represent hope after a long period of darkness, but this light only reveals the full extent of the damage to the colony. You've been having trouble sleeping, like most people. It's hard to find rest, crammed into the classroom with all the other kids and their families, and every time you close your eyes, you shake your head to clear the memories. You're so tired. It feels like you've lived this life 100 times already, and every time you have to go through this. It feels so colossally unfair. Why are you being tortured like this? You pull your blanket more tightly around your shoulders. Not your blanket, that one's gone. And stare out at this as the sun rises on the horizon, meager and sickly. Hey kiddo, you hear? Then your dad comes and sits down beside you. I was looking for you. Nice view, huh? At least we got a rooftop patio out of the deal. He laughs a little at his own joke, then just sorts of trails off with a sigh afterward. He puts his arm around your shoulders and you sit in silence for a while, watching the sunrise pick out all the broken glass littering the fields, glimmering like a field of stars. Neither of you really know what to say. It's clear your dad feels like he has to give you a pep talk, but there's a oppressive nature to the silence that makes it feel impossible for either of you to start. Oh, ad break starts in 1 minute on Twitch. And the stream's gonna end in 28 minutes. Eventually, he just sighs and his shoulders slump. I know things seem pretty bad right now, he says, squinting into the sunrise. It sounds like it's taking all his effort to not cry. But it'll get better. It has to, right? You're not so sure. At least your mom wasn't here to see this, he mutters. That's a silver lining, I guess. You watch the sunrise together for a few minutes. After a bit, your dad musters up a brave smile and pulls out a little box tied with a piece of gardening twine. Happy birthday, my little rutabaga, he says. You know what it is before you open it. Your old medallion, the one your dad made with the sun on it to represent Earth, was broken during the attack. In all the chaos, you didn't even notice, but your dad did and made you a new one. It's just like he remembered, a similar design with a wormhole this time to represent Vertumna. You thank him and squint out at the swirling wormhole, still barely visible in the brightening sky. It's so massive and awe-inspiring this time of year, but it always seems to herald disaster. You're happy to watch it fade away into the daylight. Your dad slaps you on the back. What a birthday, huh? Just hoping they all get better from here. You both head back downstairs to the wreckage of the canteen, where they've put up temporary roofing with whatever tarps and scraps could be found. The colony nanoprinters, the few that still run, have been working day and night to replace the necessities of life, but larger construction projects are going to take some time. Aunt Anne has coaxed the kitchen nanoprinters into making soy gruel and pressed bars, life-sustaining but depressing. You and the other colonists eat your breakfast in stony silence as you mentally prepare for the day. Chief Administrator Seek has taken over as interim governor until the council can elect someone new. Last week they held a mass funeral for everyone who died. There's talk of turning the Stratospheric's destroyed front half into a memorial shrine after everything useful has been salvaged. There's still so much to do. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. 22 minutes left in the stream. You're assigned to help out in geoponics. The agriculturists have been hard at work trying to salvage what they can of the ruined fields and the destroyed greenhouses. But there's still a lot of work to be done. Your dad has taken over as chief cultivator. Succeeding your mom was already difficult for him, now there's this. He's never been the kind of guy to hide from hard work, but he's been pretty distant lately. Hal's working in geoponics too, of course. He smiles when he sees you. Hey, goobers, there's lots of stuff to do. What do you want to work on? Repair the greenhouses. The geodesic domes, miraculous prefab modular structures your parents brought from Earth, are in shambles. Much of the glass and metal is beyond repair, destined for the recycler. You and Cal help clear away the debris, and when that's done, you help drape tarps over what is still standing so that the drifting spark snow doesn't pile up inside and affect the soil acidity. Anything that it can't survive outside a climate-controlled greenhouse needs to be harvested and sent to the kitchens so that it can be preserved. Canning, jarring, dehydration. Ancient techniques you've learned about in school but didn't think you'd have to put into practice so soon. Cammy visits almost every day. She says it's to pick up the Dave's harvest, but you know it's just so she can visit Cal. Everyone is worried that this will be the final nail in the coffin for your food supply after the famine last year. You try not to think about it too hard, instead focusing on just doing what you can to help rebuild. You're eating in the mess tent when you hear something rumbling. Your bowl and cutlery start rattling. People look around in alarm. Could it be another attack so soon? You begin to hear shouting from the outside. Someone runs into the tent. There's something falling from the sky, they shout. It's on fire! You join the crowd of people leaving your temporary structures to gather in the colony square. People are squinting up into the milky, quiet sunlight, pointing and gesturing wildly. It's impossible to miss the thing hurtling towards you from space, like a great big ball of fire coming straight for you. Is this it? Is this the end? After all you've been through, a meteor is gonna land in the middle of your already ruined colony and kill you all? Mars grabs your shoulder. It's another ship, she exclaims. Look, look, it's another spaceship from Earth. Excitement ripples through the crowd. Could it be? You stare up unbelieving at the rapidly approaching ship. The flames of its entry into the atmosphere dissipate, but a thick column of greasy black smoke trails behind it. Soon you can hear the whistle of it ripping through the atmosphere at terminal velocity. That is not a controlled descent. It's an enormous ship coming at you way too fast. The ship's reverse thrusters fire, trying to slow it down so it doesn't smash into a billion pieces when it hits the planet. Everyone scatters to take cover. You crouch behind some rocks, throw your arms over your head, and squeeze your eyes shut. You hear the massive spaceship touch down in geoponics, plowing through the fields and grinding over what was left of the greenhouses. You're thrown to the ground from the force of impact as shrapnel and small rocks zing past your head. It grinds along some roaring monster, cutting a great scar through the colony and kicking up an enormous cloud of dust. Finally, the ship comes to a creaking, shuddering halt. You and the other colonists carefully crawl out of your hiding places, coughing and rubbing your eyes. The newest ship is half buried and obscured by dust, but you can tell it's from Earth. You squint to make out stenciled letters, heliopause. A hatch opens its side and silhouettes begin to emerge. Silhouettes with guns. Soldiers march out of the dust and quickly surround all of the remaining colonists. More soldiers form two parallel lines from the ship to the square, their guns in parade rest, and a lone figure strides down the center towards you. Greetings, fugitives of Earth, the man says, spreading his hands wide. A dismayed murmur ripples through the crowd. The adults exchange significant looks. Chief Engineer Instance tries to slip out of the crowd, but she's stopped by the line of soldiers. The man smiles. He has a broad, easygoing smile that doesn't match the threatening aura of the soldiers, nor the smoking ruin of the ship behind him.
I am Commander Lum, he says proudly. As captain of the Heliopause, I have come to render aid and bring you to justice.
Listen with the others. Zeke steps forward out of the crowd.
You're not commander of the Heliopause, they say firmly. Governor Unicott was expecting Commander Morikawa.
Everyone is surprised. Unicott had been in communication with the ship? For how long?
I am captain of the Heliopause, Lum repeats stubbornly, then adds, according to the chain of command, we, sustained significant loss of personnel when we went through the wormhole.
You can't help but notice many of the soldiers exchanged looks this time. You wonder how many people had to die before Lum became commander.
As the commanding officer, Lum continues, I declare this colony to be under our protection. As such, you are all now subject to the laws of Earth.
Zeke bows.
Now, they stammer. There's no need for dramatics. We're a diminished colony, as you can see. Governor Unicott died in the most recent attack, and Fluorescent passed away a few months ago. You see, we're quite leaderless.
Wait, your mom? What would these Earth cops have wanted from your mom? You notice Chief Engineer Instance is being held with her arms behind her back. She glowers at Lum with unbridled hatred. Lum returns to the dissembled colonists.
Well, why don't we fix that, he declares. Say hello to your new governor.
You hear a few gasps of shock and outrage, and Lum raises his hands placatingly.
Let's not pretend you don't need our help, he says, and we could simply arrest you instead, but there's no need to demoralize your little colony further.
Judging from the number of guns on display, you don't think you have a choice in this. No one knows how to react. A new governor from Earth? Nearly 100 new colonists, most of them trained soldiers? What does this mean for the colony? The crowd disperses slowly, and the council members follow Lum back into the Heliopause, presumably to talk about the future of the colony. You hope. You track down your friends. So what do we think about these new people? Mars asks. They're just going to boss us around. Tangent nods. They don't live here. They don't know what it's like, and they're just going to swoop in and act like they're better than us? She hugs her arms around herself. Did you see what they were doing to Instance? The entire colony, now twice as many of you, sets to work on salvaging the wreckage of the Heliopause, tearing it down and combining with the Stratospheric's remaining engine section. Spirits are high, though these new colonists from the Heliopause aren't like any people you've ever met before. With their uniforms and weapons, they're more like an invading force than a rescue. You aren't sure what this means for the colony, or for your future. As the dust settles, you rebuild your colony around this new ship, the Heliopause. The new arrivals, soldiers mainly, are aloof at first. Many see you as fugitives. Together, you build new walls, living quarters, greenhouses, and a massive bunkered garrison. The Stratos engineering wing is the only reminder of your old colony. The Heliopause brought enough rations for another 5 years, as well as a rich seed bank and working hydroponics. Finally, an end to the slow starvation you felt for years. They also have more guns and explosives than you've ever seen in your life. Even the ship has guns. A full stomach, a roof over your heads, and the promise of safety convinces most Strato colonists to accept the Helios. In turn, the Helios decide that you criminals pose little threat. A grudging peace is brokered between the two groups. You decide they aren't so different, really. There are even Helio children born among the stars, just like you. After a month of hard work, you and your dad move into your new quarters, and you have your own bedroom for the first time in your life. You place a picture of your mother on the shelves beside your bed. You step out onto your very own balcony to watch the new colony. Its grounds bustling with so many strangers with strange new ideas. You feel something rising in your chest that you haven't felt in some time. Hope. Excitement. What will the new day bring? You better get out there and find out. Rush out to greet the day. There are a bunch of new characters here. Where are they? Oh, this one first. This new boy from the Heliosphere is a couple years older than you. He's very handsome, and the missing arm gives him a heroic, battle-scarred vibe. He stands tall and ready for action, even though it's a normal, boring day. The other recruits milling around the garrison give him a wide, respectful berth. He sees you staring and gives you a curt nod.
My name is Vase. Lieutenant Olivasius, he says, considering you with a glint of challenge in his eye. And you are? How do you introduce yourself? I practically run this place. His expression doesn't change. Is that right? He says with the air of a boy who's hard to impress. Nice to meet you, goobers. I hear it's been a rough couple years for the colony. Lucky thing our heliopods came along just in time, he continues. Don't worry, we have some of the best soldiers. The very best. We'll keep the colony safe. Are you one of these best soldiers? We train as a team, but Faye says, then clears his throat. Yes, I've won more than my share of zero-G judo matches and virtual riflery tournaments. Even competing against adults, he adds. Being planicide is totally different. You tell Vase that firing a virtual gun is nothing compared to running for your life through the jungle while a wild Unisaur hunts you down. A Unisaur? Vase says, leaning forward a little, his eyebrows raised. Did you actually say something to interest him? That sounds like a fun sport. I'd love to try it sometime. You approach Mars, who's deep in negotiations of some kind with tangents. When Tang sees you over Mars's shoulder, she points and says your name. Thank you, forces of chance and chaos, Tang mutters, slipping away as Mars's attention turns to you. She's your problem now, goobers. Mars pretends not to hear her. Goobers, she exclaims. You're looking hideous today, darling. Luckily, I'm doing makeovers and fashion advice free of charge. Alright, that's the thing we're doing now. Come with me, Mars says, directing you to her room. I've been working on these designs for weeks. They're fresh out the printer, and I'm dying to see how they look on a regular person like yourself. Mars's room is a riot of sparkling fabric. My first fashion line is all about dressing for the seasons of Vertumna, Mars says as she ushers you inside. Yellow and angular for dust, airy and pink for pollen, stuff like that. If we ever make it back to Earth, I want to be known as the visionary who brought Vertumna home. That's a great idea. Mars shrugs. I know. Mars indicates the pile of outfits on her bed. Well, what are you waiting for? Chop chop. You try on outfit after outfit, letting Mars scrutinize your silhouette and bearing. She seems genuinely focused on how the clothing performs. Finally, you finish trying on all of the outfits. I think the glow jumpsuit is the winner. Go ahead and put it back on, Mars instructs. Then we'll do your hair and makeup. You sit on her bed as Mars pulls out her box of cosmetics. A day look, she says. She asks, or something more bold for a nighttime? Something subtle. Mars sighs. Boring. Mars does your makeup efficiently, then pulls out a bottle of bright blue nail polish. One more thing and the look is complete. Mars paints your nails, humming tunelessly while she works. And voila, she says when she's done. I like dressing up for you. Mars doesn't miss your tone and smiles as she caps the bottle of nail polish. Is that so? She says, voice warm and teasing. What else would you do for me? She bursts out laughing before you can respond. Don't even go there. Your nails are wet. If you mess them up, I'm gonna scream. The colony is full of new people. Everywhere you look, you see a stranger. It's disorienting. After growing up in a closed spaceship, you never expected to meet any other humans that weren't made here on Vertumna. You bump straight into one of these new people while you're jogging through the colony. Oof. He laughs and holds you steady, brushing the imaginary dust off of you and giving you a wide-fanged smile. Hey, it's one of the kids from the Heliopods. You think his name is Rex. Hi, I'm Goobers. Welcome to Vertumna. You stick out your hand and shake his, and he laughs. You notice he's wiggling his dog ears. They can really move independently. Pleased to meet you, he says. I'm Rex, and I love to shake a paw. I know a ton of tricks. He winks. Rex puts his hand against his cheek, looking cute and innocent and lost. Hey, since I'm new here, do you think you can help me find the construction yard? I thought I might apply for a job there. For you, anything. His eyes widen as he winks suggestively, and he grins, wiggling his ears and lolling his tongue out like a dog. So adorable. I might just take you up on that, he says. You tell him everything is a bit changed since the heliopods landed, but you think the construction yard is still near your command. He thanks you for the directions. You've seen Nomi around since the heliopods landed. They're around your age and barely 1.5 meters tall, only coming up to your shoulder. You've never seen anyone dressed as strangely as they do. Hi! Their voice is high-pitched and quick. I'm Nomi. It's short for nomination. They do a little twirl and bow. You introduce yourself and ask,
what they do for fun. Well, Nomi Nomi begins, kind of a bit of everything. I like designing outfits and reading manga and learning about dinosaurs and cool xenofauna and robots and aliens and watching anime and playing Laser Fable, of course. Mostly lately I've played Laser Fable. It's so fun to play it outside in the great, big, endless outdoors. Nomi Nomi dances in a circle, waving their arms and gesturing at your surroundings. Challenge them to a game of Laser Fable. You're on! Nomi Nomi helps you install it on your holopalm and explains the rules. Laser Fable is an augmented reality game where you bounce hologram lasers off real objects nearby. It's speed-based, so you running around and bumping into each other, and there are extended house rules about when it's legal to block each other's lasers. Combat challenge. 78. I've got a 0. Damn. 0 card. Damn, I was defeated. Hey up, friendo! Nomi explains that the Helio kids always play Laser Fable for kudos to make it count. Just one kudos, since this wasn't a ranked tournament game. Give them a kudos. Here's fair. Is there anyone else that's new? I forget. I don't think so. I think it was just Nomi Nomi, Base, and Rex. And Anemone is curious about Base. Persuasion is at 71. Oh, Dad. I forgot about him. Even though it hurts, you find yourself wandering over to geoponics. It feels not good to be here, in the place your mom loved and ultimately gave her life to, but not good either. It feels like when you have a bruise and you can't stop yourself from pushing on it because the pain reminds you the injury is real. Like your mom dying is this huge invisible wound, and poking at it forces you to feel something instead of just being numb. Your dad is taking time off of work. Your parents worked double and triple shifts during the growing season this year, and now that it's over, it just feels so cruel. When people work hard, they should be able to look back on what they did and feel proud. Instead, there's just this huge gap with your mom should be. Hey, Patrick. You find your dad sitting in your mom's personal garden. It's miraculously starting to grow again, despite being trampled flat during the last attack, and neglected during the famine before that. Still, various ruminant flowers are starting to sprout, as well hardier earth ones like dandelions. Your dad looks up and musters a smile. He passed the bench beside him. Yeah, the VOD's gonna be available. I'm gonna upload it after I'm done streaming. Talk to him. You false start a few times. It's almost impossible to think of something to say when there's this magnitude of grief between you. He gives you time. When it's obvious that you want to talk but don't know what to say, he takes your hand in his two larger ones. Did I ever tell you about how your mom and I started dating? Bye, Patrick. You shake your head. You know they grew up together in the first colony on Earth, but nothing about their relationship. He smiles and looks at the garden as he remembers. I always thought she was too cool for me, he says quietly. People didn't like us much on Earth, so she was kind of a bruiser. Always ready to pop off, even when she was your age. She and Rhett were the same back then, he reminisces. I always thought they were going to end up together. Then your mom got injured when the first colony was attacked. I was working part-time in the clinic, and I guess that's when she realized I liked her. We had to apply to get on the stratospheric, he continues. We'd only been seeing each other a few weeks, so I was surprised when she said we should apply as a couple. They wanted all different kinds of family groups. Single people, couples who could have kids or couldn't, triads and quads. But we all had to be young, and there weren't many teenagers willing to commit to being a, mated pair. It upped our chances of being picked. He laughs and scrubs his face with his hands. She wanted to get off that planet more than anything. I don't think she realized she'd fallen in love with me until we were already in space, he says wryly. Lucky for me, right? Your dad shakes his head fondly. There aren't many people like your mom, kiddo. You nod, surprised to feel a tear trickle down your cheek. There's so much you don't know about her and what she was like, more than just being your mom. It's really hitting you that she was a person before you knew her, and now you'll never know her like that. There's a past you'll never fully know, just like there's a future she never will. Your dad puts an arm around your shoulders, and you sit like that for a long, long while. They're gonna complete this day. How about we learn? Where's the classroom? Over here. Oh, that's not the classroom. Oh, it's over here. You hear a scuttling of metallic legs. What the heck? And a strange knee-high robot bursts into your engineering lab, going full tilt on its 6 spidery legs. It slams into a wall hard enough to knock itself down. It seems to be having trouble getting back up again, and it's flailing its metal legs around dangerously. Smash it before it hurts someone. Woohoo! Professor House laughs sheepishly. This little bot got away from me again. It's always bursting out of the robotics lab. Wow, a robotics lab? You know, they put me in charge of the robotics lab on the new ship, Hal explains. Between you and me, I think they probably asked Instance first, but she was too busy. Hal looks down at the busted robot sadly. Some of these little helpers haven't been serviced since they left Earth. They'll be so useful once they work properly. Well, except for this one, you kind of trashed it. If you want to learn how to fix it up, study up, Hal says, swooping to gather up the pieces. I'll put it aside for you. When you're ready, you can help me figure out what it does. Okay, I'm gonna save. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna send everyone over to Sakyu. I'll be back tomorrow for stenography practice. Goodbye, everybody.